9/2024 Real Estate Appraisal Commission meeting, public meeting. First, I'm just gonna go follow the list right down the agenda. Mr. Chairman Rasmussen might log on. He's having some difficulties right now, and when he does come on, I'm going to turn the meeting over to him if he wants to do it. Are there any comments or concerns from anyone present today that we want to talk about right away? If not, those can wait till the end. Okay. So let's review the previous minute. Can we have somebody make a motion to review the minutes from the September 11th, 2024 meeting, or are there any concerns?
I'll make the motion.
Second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, we're rolling. All right, old business. First is Mr. Dan Booth, RCR applicant, sample report review. His supervisor is RCR Andrew Hazo. Are both of them present today?
Yes, how are you today? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, I can't see you.
Okay, I'll put it on the thing. Hold on one second.
Andrew Hazo present?
Yes, he's here.
Okay, Dan, can you state your name and your business address for the record?
Yeah, it's Dan Booth, and it's 101 Pearl Street in Hartford.
Andrew, can you state yours too?
Andrew Ohazo Jr., P.O. Box 375, Washington Depot, Connecticut, 06794.
Okay. All right. Does anybody want to start this one? Donna?
They were here last month, and Jerry asked them to come back because figuring it was going to be a live meeting. And
I could
there were some
start it.
issues with the last report, that the last couple reports that we were looking for some answers from their work file from. So I don't know if they have any of those.
Yes, I do. I have it pulled up here on my phone right now. At the
Dan,
time I was on vacation.
Excuse me, Dan, can you keep your camera on?
Yeah, the only reason is my work files are kind of on my like typing thing, but I mean, I was just going to give you some of the answers to the work file questions. I wrote down a list and I went back and I reviewed the questions, and at the time I was on vacation, and now I have answers to the work file that was brought up at the last meeting. So that's the only reason with the camera thing. It's nothing looking up, and it's just things I wrote down. But one second. Yeah, so I just wanted to take a minute just to refresh everyone's memory. And in the last meeting, there was some good feedback, and I feel like we had some good discussions. One of the things that was brought up was the land values in Bristol. That was put down. We put down a $40,000 listed. The board stated, or someone stated that, I mean, that wasn't the case, or how did I get that value? And I went back to my records in the work file and pulled up sales at the time that did actually support the value. There was only two listed in the year. One was on Jerome Ave, and it was listed for $45,000, and it sold for $40,000. That was one of the questions with the land values. Another one, Anita Drive. I think they brought up something about one being in North Branford and one being in North Haven. I did a thing which we do every single appraiser and all that, looked at the school zones, the district. One was ranked 94, one was ranked 92. They're basically on the same street. I have a list if you guys really wanted to see all the data here and all that. I have a list of other comps that we felt weren't, because normally when we pick the comps, we'll write down some other comps that we feel aren't as appropriate or maybe not be as good of a fit. A lot of them like didn't have a basement, or they would say things like a fix and flip, and we felt that the comps that we picked were the best comps.
So on that one, why did you not take 87 Birchwood in North Branford?
Okay, so for that one, hold on, I actually have that right there. Give me 1 second. I have that written down. All these two, we could always provide answers for. Sometimes it just does take a second to go back into the notes. You said which 87 Birchwood, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, we put that it was 1.1 miles away. It was the same town. It was good age, but the basement wasn't fully fixed up. It was only partially fixed up, and the porch and the AC were different. I mean, we had it was a good comp, but we felt that with the basement and the age being 59, it wasn't the best comp. Like I said, everything it's not down to a precise science, but the three comps that we picked, we felt really supported the land value.
so the one that your comp 3 on that report has a half a finished basement as well.
Yeah,
It doesn't
we
have a
just
full finished basement and it's in a different town.
yeah. I mean, we just put that this was the best one. I mean, it was 1.1 miles away. Um, I mean, you could pick a bunch of different comps or different things like that, but we feel that the three that we picked, there was some notes in it that said like it was inferior with the heating or something like that. That we felt that the three comps and we drove around the area were the best supported value to the subject property at the time.
Yeah, so the things that you said why you didn't take it though, comp 3 had air, you made an adjustment for air conditioning. You made the size is half the lot size, the age is half the age. So it's certainly the reasons why you just told me that you didn't take that one. Comp 3 certainly doesn't apply either.
Yeah, so all the fireplace and all the adjustments that we make, we talk to realtors, contractors. I talked to other appraisers in the area, um, and we felt those were the best adjustments. I looked at the property on the thing, and even driving by the area, my mom being from the area, it just didn't look as good as a comp as the one that we picked. We're very familiar with the area. Like I said, there were some notes in there that it needed some work done. That those were the three best comps that we picked. And I even put in the work file here that I have proven. It said it needed a little bit of work done.
Shauna, I, I would like to ask your geographic competency there because you showed some very not geographic competency, obviously for Bristol. You would have to agree that you were not geographically competent for that area. Are you geographically competent to be taking these questions from North Haven?
Andrew, I'm going to cut you off here, buddy. Listen, you know, we see a lot of reports. We see a lot of stuff from all over the state. If you're going to challenge us, we're going to stop this right here. Okay? We're asking Andrew. Our goal here is to make sure Andrew is competent enough to go ahead and move forward and take the test. Okay? We're not challenging him. We're not doing anything. We're just asking him questions to see if he could, just like we do with any candidate that comes up before us. Okay? And I've been doing this 10 years. You're the first one to start getting defensive. I'm going to ask you, please, just let Dan answer the question.
Because these questions were not asked of your candidate that was brought up.
No,
I was there for that meeting.
Because maybe they weren't issues.
Shauna actually didn't ask any questions. Shauna didn't ask any questions of her.
We have people that come forward that don't require any questions. There's another candidate coming up here who's commercial that the reports, we'll get to them too. So, Andrew, I'm going to ask you just to calm down and just ask you, please, let Dan answer the questions. And then there's another process. If you feel like you've been aggrieved, there's another process that you can go through that's set up that we can take it another step further. But right now, it's not necessary, Andrew. Just let Dan finish. He's doing a great job.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yes. What was the question that was asked that you need an explanation to now?
I was just wondering
Like I
why.
said, some of the research I did too with the North Branford, North Haven. You brought up the school district. They were all within a mile. Like I said, my mother's familiar with the area. The school districts, I even put in my work file because if I do happen to cross over another town, not another street, they're very, very similar in school districts. 92, 94, it was all less than a mile. The houses were very, very similar. The basements were more alike. We drove by the area. The reason that Birch one, like I said, I have a note in one of the work files that I wrote down here on the piece of paper with the Birch one. There were comments on the thing saying it did need a little work and the property was different. So that's why, I mean, there's always other comps that could be used, but that's why I thought those were the best ones to go ahead and approach with.
Did you write that in the report somewhere?
Yeah, it's in the report and it's in the work file. I mean,
So where is it in
I
the
don't know
report so I can see
exactly.
that?
I got to go back and look. I don't have it off right this hand, but that I didn't write in the report why I didn't use a different comp. But
No, why you changed towns?
I mean, it's less than a mile away, the school zone and all that. I mean,
Is it the
I
same school
made
zone? Is it the same school zone?
it's the 94 versus a 92. I have the exact rating that I wrote down in one of the work files. Hold on.
No, that's not my question is, did you write it in the report to say that they're similar towns and that's why you crossed because you thought they were better? These comps were better.
I mean, I just made the educated thing being familiar with the area. I know the area. It's North Branford, North Haven. Grew up
Right.
there, played hockey there in Northford.
I understand you're
I
saying that
mean,
from your
they're on the same
experience.
street.
I
Yeah,
understand you're
I
saying that
mean,
from your experience, but you have to report that as well.
there might have been there might have been I know the USPAP 1 and 2 is justifying and all that. There might have been a comment about the school zone, but I mean, we've never had a problem with if it's that close in distance. It's not like New Haven and North Haven, you know? It's it's
You still
very,
have to
very
relay
similar in
that in
there.
your report. You still have to relay that in the report.
All right. So, Sean, are there other questions he has to address?
There was a couple other questions. I mean, why was the fireplace adjusted more than the air conditioning? That was one of the questions. I
Yeah,
have three
so
questions altogether. Go ahead.
what are the questions?
Well, let's start. I'll do one at a time. Why was the air conditioning value adjusted less than a fireplace?
Because at the time we talked to realtors, contractors, market value. It's a smaller house. It's about 800 or 900 square feet. And I even have people that are listed that were realtors, valuers, and that's what they would pay for the. I mean, it's not going to be ever to an exact science, the exact price, but that's the quote that we were given from all of them. And we've been familiar and we've been around the area for probably over a year now. We've been everywhere from New Haven to Hartford to all over. So, I mean, and that's me talking to contractors, that's me talking to realtors, that's me talking to other appraisers. And like I said, it might not be an exact science with the exact value, but with the size of the house and it being built, that's what we got for our sales data comparing it.
On this same report, remember I was saying that there was a lip in the back of the house, the square footage. Did you
Yep.
review that at all?
Yeah. Um, I mean, the basement was the same size as
But it's not. You can
the,
see it in the picture.
but it was when we measured it.
It's clear in the
Uh,
picture. It overlap. It does
but
an overhang.
okay, that's a picture. I'm not trying to argue. That's just what we measured, you know.
Did I lose him? Did we? I can't hear him.
I said that's what we measured. I mean, I just went by the
Can
data,
anybody else
you
hear
know.
him? Because I cannot.
So you measured the building, Dan?
Oh, it's my speaker.
Yes, I have
Okay.
like one of those the lighting guns or
Yep.
the yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean,
And your sketch and your sketch that you used in the report reflects your measurements?
yep.
Okay. All right. Sean, I think you answered that one.
I can't hear him, so I'm probably gonna have to call that number.
All right. Were there any other questions, Shauna?
She can't hear you.
All right.
Shauna, put your computer on mute if you're dialing in on the phone so you don't have the feedback.
Well, we'll get there. So Dan, I think you've proven the point that we were looking for last time because you had your work file, is you obviously able to answer these questions and handle the questions. And the point last time about standard one and standard two is standard one is the appraisal process. Standard two is
Yep.
communicating the appraisal process. The communication, really what we're trying to focus on is to understand, do you understand the appraisal process? And it's clear from your answers
Yes.
that you're understanding the appraisal process. And the communication is something that just comes in time. Okay, it just comes in time as we keep getting phone calls from people questioning our stuff, et cetera, et cetera. We learn that how to communicate a little bit better and better. And so you've answered the questions, you've answered them all. I think what she's trying to say is try to put those answers in the report so that you can think ahead. So you're never going to get them all, but if you can just
Yep.
be a little more proactive, the quality of your reports will go up. And what's the whole purpose of this? The whole purpose of this is to uphold public trust in the appraisal
Safety.
process. And that public trust is really one appraisal at a time going out there into the world that people are reading. Okay.
Yes, and like I said, I'm a trainee. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm very excited. I know I have a lot to learn. I'm gonna continue working under like a mentor or a company and a group and things like that. But I totally agree. And the biggest thing is, like you said, to a lot of times I have like the questions that come up, but it's just being able to provide the answers if someone not challenges, but brings up the reason why you use this. So I get
Okay.
that.
All right. I got one last
Can you guys
question.
hear me, Mibak? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Shauna.
I only have one more question. On your report of 11 Pine Court, I had asked you that you say in the comments that property values are increasing, but you made no time adjustment for the sales that closed earlier.
Yes,
So
because those were I look back at my work on that question too as well, and those were kind of towards the end of the year, and it wasn't like October or September. This was like November, December, and I agree with you. They might have went up a little, but um, it was so insignificant that it wouldn't be over like $1,000 adjustment that I didn't. Me and Andrew decided that we didn't feel that an adjustment was necessary.
So between May of when this sold and September, the market was growing, and then the market basically stopped. Basically, reading this report, that's how I interpret that, based off of your comments.
I'm confused a little bit on that. I mean, I have
Because the
data.
property
I could
sold
go
on
back and
May
I could.
23rd. May 23rd is
Yeah.
when the property sold, according to your information. Your comps close, I guess the contract, they closed in October, November. So the
Yeah.
market just stopped at that point?
Yeah. I mean, it was at the very end of the year. The other ones we used. So that's why, like I said, you could be right. There could have been a little dip, but like I said, it would be so insignificant. I don't think it would be over 1,000 adjustment or anything like that because it closed at the end of the year.
John,
Well,
can
at
you
this
hear me?
point,
Hold on, Bruce.
I
You can't interrupt here in this process. Hold on.
yeah, at this point, I would say that I'm going to need some more samples before I would be able to approve. I mean, obviously, the rest of this commission can
I
decide
mean,
what they're going to do.
all
But
all I'm gonna,
I need some more additional work to review. So
I mean, all I'm gonna say is that the samples, Andrew's been doing it for 30 years with the VA. He's been on boards, things like that. The appraisals are not going to change. Like the reports that we have done and all that. We've never had anything unethical. We've always come up with public safety. The reports aren't going to change. We have the work files. I mean, any questions like that you asked or anything, I could always go back into my data and look at the data, but I mean, I just if you want more samples, I mean, it's my like third or fourth time doing this. And John was stating before that he wanted to see me kind of like prove it and answer that. It's my second or third time that, I mean, the appraisals aren't going to be any different, really. I mean, it's just,
Well.
we never had a problem. We never had a problem with anyone reviewing the appraisals. Never been in bad standing. Sometimes questions do come up. I mean, I don't always have the answer on the tongue of my foot where I could just do it. But if you give me a time, I could look at the facts and the data and the sales data, and everything kind of supports the market value. I don't feel that there were so many questions on the report where it didn't meet public safety and the value wasn't supported.
So, Shauna, while you were struggling with the phone there, I made the comment that personally, compared to the last two times, I think that Dan this time did answer your questions, and he had a response, which means that he was thinking of these things, he understood these things, but they weren't included in the report, as you indicated, which means that, the question then becomes, does he still have a ways to go? Or is he there? He just has to keep practicing communicating within the report. And the only other concern I have, Dan, is you keep mentioning you and Andrew. I know Andrew's your supervisor, and he's supposed to be guiding you, and he is obviously guiding you. The question though is, are you ready to actually go out and hang? Because once we say yes, you take your test and pass, you can hang your shingle and you're out there. Okay. So that's what we're just trying to make sure that you're ready. You're ready for that. So that's the objective here. That's all the objective is. It's not anything else but that.
Yeah, I understand completely, and I know I'm still a trainee, so I don't have all the experience under you guys. But I mean, our plan was, especially with the market, was, I mean, I obviously keep working with him and all that, and I mean, there are things we could be in the report, maybe more a little articulate, but I think it showed enough that if there's a question or a concern that comes up, that we could put together an answer that would protect the public safety,
Well, public trusts. Okay.
Public trust, yeah.
So
and also,
Andrew, hold on, Andrew.
Questions from the public?
Bruce, hold on a second, because over the years, I don't ever remember somebody other than the applicant and the supervisor actually sharing when we're talking this.
Why
so,
not?
Vicky, can we do that?
If this was a meeting that we're all in person,
No, I'm just going by protocol, Bruce. I just want to.
Protocol should be that if a member of the public is listening to something, we have every right to.
Bruce, you only have right.
Are you saying that I have no right to make a comment
Bruce,
in regards to items that
No, Bruce, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking for Vicky, our attorney, who's part of this, and Debbie, who's the legal. Just what's the protocol? That's all I'm asking, Bruce. Just give me a second to talk to them. Vicky and.
This is
Vicky,
Jason.
you're on.
No, public comment is only allowed during the public comment periods, not during these reviews.
Thank you, Jason. So, Bruce, that's the answer.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
You have to wait for the public comment. So do we hear
will there be a public comment in regards to this issue?
At the end, we're going to have a public comment period, and you can bring up anything you want at that point.
Is that before or after you come to your determination here?
Well, we don't know yet, so let's find out. So
well, obviously, that this is, with all due respect to the attorney, that it has to do with a the due process, fair treatment, and everything else. And as a USPAP instructor, and I've worked with and testified in front of multiple appraisal commissions, Dan has the right to be able to have other opinions other than his defending his work. And I understand what it is that Sean is attempting to do and you're attempting to do.
Bruce, with
And
all due respect, you're actually hurting Dan's case right now. Can you just pause
actually,
and let us
you don't
and
know
let us
where I'm
talk?
going. So you're making an assumption as to what I'm saying prior to even hearing it.
I am. Do we have any kind of motion from the floor right now, or what?
Well,
Whether
let's see if anybody else on the commission has any more comments besides you and I. Jen, Martha, Norris. Is Norris with us today?
Yeah.
I guess they don't.
Norris, you have anything? Did we lose Norris?
I'm right here. I'm right
No.
here.
Do you have any questions, Norris?
No,
Jennifer?
not yet. Not yet. Let's just
Not
deal with
yet.
this process. Let's just deal with this process.
Jennifer, do you have any questions for Dan?
No, not at the moment.
And where is who?
She's there. Martha's there.
Is she
Maria?
here? Maria's here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm here. No question. I don't have any questions.
Okay. All
All
right.
right, I'm going to make a motion that he provides 3 more samples and come back and next month or the month after, and we'll review those and see if their reports can match what's happening with what's going on. Because I think he's still not ready, as his report writing is not matching the things that he's saying to us verbally. So that's my motion.
Anybody want to second that? I can't vote, guys, because I'm chair. Does anybody want to second that? One more time.
I'll
Norris,
second it for
Jennifer?
discussion purposes.
Say that again, Jennifer. I'm sorry.
I said I'll second that for discussion purposes.
Okay, so we have a second. Any discussion?
I guess I'll discuss. I am happy that Dan has been able to come in today and he was able to much better respond to the questions and explain from his work file the reasons for why the report was that way. I do agree that the report writing does need to be improved a little bit. Obviously, I'm one of the newer commission members, so I defer to the people that have been on the board longer than I have, in terms of how you handle that process. But I do think that there can always be improvement. And I think there should be some improvement in just explaining a lot of what you were able to explain to us today, because you were absolutely able to articulate that to us verbally. And I do think that if some of that had been in the report, some of those questions wouldn't have been raised to begin with.
Yeah, I just feel like
Wait, excuse me again. We do all understand that this is a summary appraisal report, correct? And we understand the difference between a summary and a complete appraisal report. Does everyone on the commission understand that?
There's a
And
restricted use
I'm
and there's
sorry.
go ahead, Jennifer.
No,
I'm
not
sorry.
restricted.
No, I just wanted to
This is a
say,
summary
I
appraisal report
apologize
as stated
that,
on the top of
but,
the appraisal report. This is not a complete
Debbie,
appraisal report.
I'm so confused as to the tenor of this meeting and the hostility. I don't really, to be frank, I'm not quite sure how to handle it.
Yeah, not
I'm happy
sure
for
how you handled the
any
hostility from
advisement that
Shauna,
Debbie
but
or legal can give us, but I made a comment, sir. It's the only time I've ever made a comment to you, and you responded so aggressively. And I think my comment was very respectful.
aggressively.
So I would just,
Aggressively.
I don't know,
What's aggressive?
Shauna, Debbie, Vicky, I don't know how to handle this.
All right, I see
At the moment,
Jason
this is
speaking
just
up.
a discussion about the vote, so it's just board members discussing about their vote right now.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, but that just it doesn't seem like that's being abided by the people that are on the call.
All right, so Norris, do you have any comments?
No.
All right, Maria? Any comments?
No.
Okay, so let's put it to a vote. All in favor? What Sean is,
Aye.
Maria's an aye, Sean is an aye, Norris,
Nay.
Jennifer?
I,
Aye, okay. So it's 3 ayes, 1 nay, and I can't vote because I'm the chair. But so Dan, I don't want you to get frustrated, okay? Please, because it's a process. It's just a process. Just like we grow as appraisers, it's just a process. So
That's-
the motion was to come back with 3 appraisals for the next meeting. And I think if you answer them, you write the reports just as you answered, I think there's going to be no issues here. And pick your best 3 reports. Let's just pick your best reports, submit them to Debbie, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Prior to him staying, so when was the public comment on this? And it's public comment is after
There
you
is no
vote?
individual public comment. There's a public comment period. There wasn't at the beginning of the
When
meeting,
is the
and there will
public
be
comment
later in
period?
the meeting.
Is it at the end of the entire meeting?
Yeah, there's a public
Because I'd
comment at the
like to-
beginning of the
I'd like
meeting
to
and a
make a
public comment
point.
at the end of the meeting, Bruce.
I'd like to make a point in regards to what it is that just happened here. If
But
I
that's not
may.
appropriate or permitted right now. If you're
Huh.
not able to follow the
You know
rules, you will
something?
have to be,
Dan actually
escorted
has
from the meeting.
cause for undue process. And the fact that if someone comes in and says something, that I can tell you how disappointed I am in hearing this, because Andrew all his work is now being rejected by Shauna, who, with all due respect, Shauna, that you're questioning items of judgment made by the appraiser. That is something that is beyond the purview of members of the appraisal commission. That
Bruce,
is
Bruce,
absolutely
you're really
germane.
out of line right now because you were not on the
Well,
last.
great.
You
That's
weren't on the
great.
last
You know,
meeting,
Michelle, we're
Bruce.
gonna have
Why
to
are people
remove Bruce
interested in
from the
becoming
meeting if he
appraisers?
can't abide by the rules.
Put him on mute.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would like to make some comments along with Bruce, because there's been a lot of inappropriate behavior by this commission that I'm very concerned by.
The public
This
comment
isn't the-
period
Yeah.
is not at this time.
And my question too, like, and still with some of the unappropriate, like last time with Shauna, she said that her grandmother couldn't even buy land for $40,000 or something. And
Dan,
that's what
you're gonna hurt your.
I
Dan,
know,
you're
but
doing a great job. You're doing a great job. I didn't mean. Okay, all right. So let's move on to the next. The next candidate is Martha. Is Martha Perizot here, and Nancy McGuire?
Yes, I am Martha.
Okay. Are you at your camera on, Martha? There you are. Okay, and is Nancy here? Was she able to call in?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is somewhere.
She's on page 2 if you
All right,
flip
great.
down on the bottom.
All right, Martha, can you state your name and employment address for the record, please?
Martha Parizo, 64 Wall Street, Norwalk.
Can you spell your name too, please?
Parizo, Parizot.
All right. And Nancy, can you state your name?
Yes, Nancy McGuire, McGuire.
All right. So did anybody else read these reports, their commercial reports?
I'm sorry, I did not.
Okay. All right. So I read them. Martha, I think they're very good. They're very well written. Just a couple of trivial comments I just want to make. I noticed that some of your photos didn't look like they were actually taken by you on the comps. They look like they were something that might have been extracted from another source. And I just want to caution you that you might want to reference those sources if that's the case. You did, just going forward. And then the only other comment I had was I noticed on your rents, particularly the I think it was the last one I read, the 620, the one that had the cost approach on it, the new construction.
Okay.
That you know, you had a range from like 7 to I think it was 958 or something like that, and you reconciled the rent on 9. I mean, I love the fact that you guys put expense comparables in your reports, and your support for your overall rate is very well communicated. Along with that, I just noticed that in a pattern in that is that, you know, just a suggestion that going forward, that sometimes when we have adjustments and we're talking about them, or we're making them, or just making a conclusion, just to narrate a little bit the gap between here's the data and here's my conclusion. That's the only comment I really can make. And again, it goes back to what we periodically talk about here is, you know, working on communicating your analysis. But I found the reports to be very, very, very good. No issues at all. Nothing. Thank you. It was refreshing to read. That's all I have. But now, since I'm chairing, can I make the motion to accept her? Or do I have to step out?
I'll make that motion. I can make that motion, John. I read the reports. I also thought they were very good.
Anybody else have any
I'll second
comments?
it.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? Okay, thank you very much, Martha. Thank you. You're all
you.
set. So just contact Debbie and she'll connect you with getting your the next step. Okay, and good luck on the test. Make sure you study.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
You
you.
know, I'd just like to interject one thing, Martha. There's a 68% fail rate the first time taking the test.
Oh, we're not going to scare her.
So,
Oh.
but I'm just using it as a warning, like study hard. It's not that easy. And good luck. I'll call you later.
I want to know if I can say something.
Sure.
This is the time for Martha and I, and it is a bit of a public comment. I just want to, first, before I say my comment, I just want to thank Martha because she's been a pleasure to work with. Not that she's not going to work with us, but anyway, it's been a pleasure. Martha came out of Wall Street.
Oh.
So she's very, very skilled on terminology. She's also skilled with understanding alternative investment options and rates and everything. And she's been a pleasure to have around. I want to say one thing also, just to encourage the other folks that are here today. I know I'm not supposed to make a public comment, but you know, our appraisals are a form of technical writing, and we should write our appraisals in present tense. And because we need to explain like a math teacher, we need to explain what we're doing when we make our adjustments. And it's 1 or 2 sentences more in each paragraph that either describes the math or explains what, like John just said, you know, when you make your rent or you select it, go ahead and make that comparison. Go ahead and state why you went to the top or bottom. I just want to say that today with the gentlemen, all the gentlemen that are, you know, we're here today, because it's not to be, don't be discouraged. Technical writing is something we don't learn in college very much, and we certainly don't learn it in high school. So it like all these older appraisers know, it's a process. So I just wanted to be encouraging this morning. That's all.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. James Doherty. Is he here?
Yes. Yeah.
And is Supervisor James Doherty here?
Yes.
Is it Doherty or Doherty?
Doherty.
Doherty, okay. Do you want to state your name and business address and spell it for the record, please?
James Doherty, 199 Anderson Road, Tallinn, Connecticut.
And I am James Doherty the fourth, and it's also 199 Anderson Road, Tallinn, Connecticut. Doherty is Doherty.
Okay. And is anybody sample reports review? Does anybody want to start this process? Shauna?
I can, I guess. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Basically, looking at your reports, I thought they were very good for the most part. I just have a couple of little comments. I'm on 37 McKee Street,
Yes.
You know, you have comp 4, which was 2 bedrooms, and you didn't make any
Yeah.
adjustment for the bedrooms. You know, if you look at the adjusted price, it was a little lower, and you know, I was kind of surprised not to see any adjustment for that.
We typically don't make bedroom adjustments. We include it in the square footage adjustment, which has been recommended by a lot of reviewers I know for him throughout his career. So that's how we usually go about it.
You know, doing pair sales, at least in the town that I work in, there's definitely seems to be a market for difference between 2 and 3. I don't know if in this town if there was or was not, but just looking at the adjusted sale price, it came in a little lower, so that was the first thing I noticed. And then your adjustment for on comp 5 for your site, you actually have more than twice the acreage, and you only made a $500 adjustment. So how did you come up with that?
Yeah, well, we make our land adjustments for this area at $2,000 per acre, and that should be explained in the addendum.
Do you know if that could be subdivided out, that extra lot?
Comp
Whatever.
number 5.
Yeah.
No, that
I don't know.
not
It
East
just seemed a
Hartford.
little low. But overall, and then I guess I got one more comment. You had a cape and you used ranches. I would try to stick to 2 stories as much as you can. I mean, you certainly gave me a lot of comps. Again, I thought the reports were fine. You bracketed well. I thought, you know, the adjustments overall were very good. So, but just a couple things I noticed for you for the future.
Okay.
Jennifer, Norris, Maria, anybody got any more comments, questions? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to
I'll make a
approve.
motion to approve.
Norris, want to second that?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, congratulations, James. You're all set. Again,
Thank you.
connect with Debbie on the next step.
Yep.
And good luck with your test to make sure you study.
Yeah, I will. I have been for 2 months already.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Roxanne Belter Lee, experience log and sample selection. She doesn't have to be here, but is she here? No? No, Deb? All right. Did anybody go through her
Not here.
It's very
log to pick
blurry.
look at the log?
I try to look at it. It is very blurry. You
Yeah, this is the
can
one that,
make it out a little, but and then the signature's in a different spot. I guess it's, I don't know. You don't have a better copy, Deb?
That's it.
okay, is
There's
it
a lot
top?
of these that just say assisted, assisted taking photos and sketch, you know.
Her supervisor is, I believe he may be out of the country, which is why she couldn't get new signatures for this log. I believe that's what she told me.
Temporary out of the country, or does he live out of the country?
I think he's traveling,
Okay.
but she wasn't sure when he was coming back.
All right, so we don't have to actually approve the log. We can wait till she gets the correct one in for next week, but maybe if we can kind of just pick some samples and to save some time, she can bring the samples, and then next month we can reapprove the log as it comes in clear.
Okay.
Bonnie, you want to pick any samples there? Would you want to get back to Debbie on that?
I guess I'll have to get back to her and send them to her.
Jennifer? Maria, anybody? Okay. All right, so we'll table that one till next month.
Okay,
All right, the next thing on the list is, so there's no one else here for any other experience credits, reviews, or anything, Deb, right?
No.
Okay. No one being at it?
Can there be a
Oh.
comment in regards to the, what it is that I've just seen in regards to the review process?
At the end, Bruce, at the
Is
end,
that the end of the entire meeting?
at the end of the entire meeting,
Yes.
but we're cruising pretty good here. So, the next item is discussion of 2026 AQB criteria, the new course valuation bias and fair housing becomes mandatory on January 1st, 2026. And it would be required for our CE deadline on January 1st, 31st, 2026. So anybody want to start this discussion? Deb, you want to fill us in a little bit?
Well, as you know, that new course, I think you just read, becomes effective January 1st of 2026. It's going to be a mandatory 7-hour course for everybody who's doing CE. And they're only going to have basically 1 month as it stands right now to get that done. We're trying to get the schools they're working on getting the course written according to the criteria that's on page 32, I believe, of the AQB criteria. I believe I sent that to you. If not, I can send it back, correct? So we need to change or add that to our regs to make it a requirement for the mandatory, as part of our mandatory courses for the CE for that period, starting 2026.
So we can start that process now?
Yes,
Okay,
because it takes some time.
okay. And then, so one, just maybe Norris can help on this one too. Once we, start the regulation process, we can't really, is it true that we can't mandate it to be part of the next cycle until it gets into the regulations? Or do we vote on that now and make it part of our mandatory classes?
That seems to be a question for Vicky.
It doesn't become effective until the legislation has passed. So, I mean, you can vote on it to say when it becomes effective.
Okay, do we want to do that? Anybody? Come on, I feel like I'm hanging out here.
Can the audience ask a question?
I believe you can on this part of it. Correct,
All right.
Jason? Jason still with us?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. What was that?
Anybody, the public can participate in these discussions, correct? We're discussing the 2026 AQB requirement of adding the bias and fair housing course as a mandatory course.
I think it's still generally reserved for the public comment section.
Okay, all right.
I would agree. I think all the comments are at the end. I wouldn't deviate from that process.
Okay.
I
All right.
question the process because, with all due respect, again, that if you have someone who's an expert in the field and has worked closely with and teaches, for example, the Uniform Standards Professional Practice, such as myself, to exclude my input into this prior to your making a decision on a course that hasn't even been written yet, that you are putting the cart way before even the horse is out there. And I understand the problem that's involved here, but I also understand that one of the issues is to make this an addition to the 28 hours. And by excluding my testimony or my input on this or any questions raised by me, this also goes to what it is that happened earlier in this
Okay, all right.
hearing.
Bruce, I hear what you're saying. Let's wait till, I am cutting you off.
No,
Please,
no, no,
let's just
you're
wait to
having
the
it so
end.
that at the
No,
end of the
because
meeting, I can
you
make
don't
a
even know what we're
comment
going to vote about
after
yet.
you've
We're
already
having
made
a
a decision.
deciding. We're just in a discussion, Bruce. Let us discuss it and figure it out as the commission members.
And
Okay?
then,
If you
and
want to
then
be a
when can I
commission
make a
member, apply to
decision?
be a commission member. So, Deb, I mean, can you just clarify? So, do we have to have a vote on this right now? Because I'd rather wait till Jerry's part of this too.
I think if I remember correctly, I think that Jerry had indicated that he did want to be a part of it. My thought would be to table it until perhaps next month when he's able to participate.
Okay, but as far as the regulation goes, if we wait another month or so, that's not going to make a difference in the process.
It doesn't make a difference because the regulations can be done all year round. It's the statutes that we have to have within a certain timetable. The regulations can be done at any point in time throughout.
But there's nothing in the statute we have to change. It's just the regulation, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right.
I'd also
so-
like to clarify too for Mr. Hunter, we are not approving courses. This is the regulation change because the AQB criteria has changed to include this as a mandatory course for all the states. This will be a nationwide course. And secondly, you can get all that information on the AQB website for clarification. It's the 2026 criteria.
Right. And the other thing that we still need to discuss is, are we going to increase our number of hours by this course, or are we going to include it in the existing requirement? So we still have a ways to go on this. So let's just table this one again till next month when Jerry's here. All right, the next item, discussion appraiser instructor requirements. This was the question regarding, if I got this straight, that when someone submits a course, are we going to have, am I correct on this, Debbie? Are we going to have does it require a certified or a licensed appraiser to be available to answer appraisal questions for the course? Does anybody have any comments about this as far as the commission members? So I just want to make a comment on this, and then I think
Mr. Chairman, John, real quick.
Yep.
Are we going to, with that, like, say, for instance, there's a course about drones. Are you going to need an appraiser there for a course about drones?
Well, that's the question. That's the question, Norris.
Yeah, that's.
And I, because, we have a course coming up that we're going to be voting on. And we've had other classes. The reason why this came up is we've had several courses come up that are being taught by someone who is not a licensed appraiser, nor do they have any appraisal experience. Now, and so we've requested that they have somebody available to answer appraisal questions if they come up, and they have responded with somebody. But we have another course that we're going to come up that I'm going to recommend that we approve that is not being taught by a licensed appraiser. It's being taught by somebody who has a lot of experience in the topic, and we can get to that. It's the one on 6 expert questions. It's being taught by an attorney who has an extensive amount of experience dealing with litigation around appraisers. So, I was leaning towards this of making this a requirement, but then as I see that, and I'm wondering if we just leave it as is and we do it on a case by case basis, if that's something that we can do. So I'm going to ask if Vicky and Debbie can look into that and see if that is something we can just do on a case by case basis, and then we discuss it next month when Jerry's here a little bit more, or if it's something that we have to change and vote on to say, hey, we're making it a requirement or this or that or the other thing. All right. Does that make sense, Deb? Okay.
Will you accept other comments from the peanut gallery, or am I
Yeah, at the
also
end, Bruce.
excluded from this?
At the end. You're more than welcome to submit anything in writing to us too. All right, new business.
That is not actually correct, because you have a meeting, you're talking about a topic. Is there a public comment in regards to this particular topic, yes or no?
At the end, yes.
Bruce, you can make a comment at the beginning when the agenda's out. You can make any comment about anything that's on the agenda, or you can make one at the end during the meeting. There's no public comment.
Okay, so right now we're talking about having the necessity of having an appraiser that may be willing to integrate the question. I just want to make sure that I understand the issue that's being discussed and voted on. I echo John's concern And
Well,
if it's
can you
okay,
bring it up Bruce, bring it up at the end, because
how can I bring it up at the end? This is something you're
because
going to vote on.
because we're not voting. We're not voting anything. We
Okay.
just passed it down. We're not voting on anything. All right, so new business, RSP Brian Hartley, 6th year completed request extension while awaiting PSI RCG exam date. Is he here?
I am here.
Brian,
me?
you want to, yep, can you state your name and the spelling of your name and your address, and then tell us what's going on? And Deb too? if you can
Brian
tell us.
Hartley. Brian Hartley, BrianHartley. Business address is 35 Cold Spring Road, Rocky Hill, Connecticut. And so, yes, I've completed my my 6 years as a provisional has run out. I've completed all the coursework. I sat before the board, I think it was 2 months ago now, just due to the scheduling of the exam, which I am scheduled for November 13th. I'm requesting an extension of the provisional so I can successfully complete that test.
All right, and if I recall,
Which has
you're full-time, I'm sorry, were you a teacher or something with?
That's right, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Hence,
All right,
hence
Deb,
the 6 years.
and how much time are you requesting?
He's never asked for, he's never asked for an extension previous to this. He's at his limit right now for his RSP.
Right.
And you're scheduled to take the test when?
November 13th.
So somebody want to make a motion or anything here? Because I think 6 months would be appropriate, wouldn't it, to give him time in case? Not that you're going to pass the first time, right, Brian? But
I think as we have done it in the past, it was done in 6-month increments.
so I recall. Okay. All right. Somebody want to make a motion to grant or
I'll
not?
make the motion. I'll make
Doris
the
makes
motion.
Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We abstain? All right. You got it, Brian. 6 months. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Next on the list is legal. Anything legal here?
Legal is here. We start the hearings at 10 o'clock unless there's some other matters.
Okay, we'll move on to that until 10 o'clock. All right,
Yes.
so DCP investigations. Deb, you want to give us an update?
Yes, we have for our closed reports, we have 5. And hold on, I have this right here. And out of the 5, 4 of them, these are all for CE, missing CE, or CE not completed on time. And out of the 5, 4 of them unfortunately had to pay a civil penalty and were reported as required to the National Registry. We've got our open cases this month are 28. We've got 11 as part of the CE audit. And depending on the determination after we have our hearings today, they'll be closed. 1 is a value dispute that I still have to look at. 15 are USPAP related, and then we have 1 that's an AMC. And that's it.
Okay. Anything going to discipline to the National Registry yet? Nothing?
Just those 4.
This is one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody got any questions for Deb? Okay. All right, let's go on to course approval. So we have 2 courses that have AQB and IDEC approval. So anybody have any issues with those 2? They're both McKissick courses. One is live webinar of land and site valuation, and the other one is the cracking the code, demystifying desktop and hybrid appraisals. Anybody got any issues with those 2 classes? So you want to make a motion to accept those 2?
Okay, I will. I'll make the motion to approve, AAL 1246 and 1289.
Second,
Second. Second.
any discussion? We'll vote. All approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Okay, those are approved. All right, so let's go to the no AQB and or IDEC. So on the only question I have is, I have one for Deb, is on AAL 1290 New England Appraisers Expo, the commercial one. So one is for 3 hours and one is for 4 hours. And they're asking those for separate underneath AAL 1290 and then AAL 1291. There's no issue. We don't have, in the past, have we done 3 hours? I mean, it always seems like to be an even hour, except for 7 hours. There's no issue with giving 3 hours, correct?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We've
Okay,
done
just.
that in the past.
All right, so again, on these, I went through them all myself. I have no issues with any of these. I was a little concerned about the one with the 6 recent appraisal lawsuits, but after reading the extensive resume of the guy who's going to teach it, person's going to teach it, I'm not sure it was a man or a woman. They have a tremendous amount of litigation experience dealing with appraisers. In appraisal lawsuits and things like that, just on appraiser stuff. So I don't have any issues with that class. Anybody else have any comments?
Well, the only one that I had concern was AAL 1291. The first part of that day didn't seem really more appraisal related, more just real estate agent related, and so I marked down to give it 2 hours instead of 4. But other than that, I had no other issues.
Let me just review that one more time. So they're going to start at 9:30 to 10:20. It'll be a panel of seasoned state licensed board members as they evolve regulatory changes, concerns, and offer expert guidance on crafting appraisal reports that withstand scrutiny. So that's the one you're questioning?
I have to go back and look at it now. Just 1291.
If you're concerned about the NIR thing, I was leaning that towards you too, and then I went to that educational the conference that was Friday, and there was a panel up there discussing this, and I thought that was very informative to the appraisal process. So I thought that's appropriate. And of course, the next two I think are appropriate too.
You're talking 1290, 1291, right?
I think we're just talking 1291.
Yeah.
1291.
How about at 10:30, where it will about comments about commission settlement and impact on selling and buying residential dwellings. That was my concern.
Yeah, that's what I just said, Shauna. So we had Deb, what was the title of that conference on Friday?
Okay,
Seminar?
I'm not even sure, but it was put out by the Yukon Real Estate
Yeah,
Commission or whatever
and
department.
we were all invited as commissioners, and I went, and there was actually a panel there. Gene Marconi was one of them. Attorney Vito was another one. These are independent people. There was somebody from MLS on the panel. There was someone from NAR on the panel, and there was one other person on the panel. I think it was a state agency person, correct? Anyway, I found that to be, I didn't think that had anything to do with appraisal, but after listening to them, I thought it was excellent. And I think that it was something that all appraisers should understand what actually happened, because it impacts the when you're reviewing a settlement statement now and how a listing is obtained and listing agreements and buyer-seller agreements, and how to extract actually what the price is. And they actually talked about concessions in there, too. And I think it's something that all appraisers, especially on the residential side, and commercial side, should be aware of so that they can understand what was the true price actually paid for a property. So I think that's very applicable.
All right, since you went, that's good.
So, and the other ones I think so. I'm okay with 4 hours for this course.
I'll make the motion to grant 4 hours.
Okay, so it's up for 4 hours.
It was already required for 4, right?
Yeah. So does anybody
so
have
we
any
can
other
make that
issues in any of the other courses?
Oh.
Anybody have any issues with any other? Jennifer, Maria, Norris?
No, good.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, that passed. All right, so now we have 2 things left. We have legal, and those start at 10, Vicky? I guess Vicky's here. All right.
10 a.m. You're correct.
That
All
is
right,
correct, 10 a.m.
So
I'm not sure that everybody is here that would be signing on, only because the notice was indicated as 10. So, I mean, we would have to give them the grace period. So we will start at 10. Thank you.
okay, so why don't we jump to comments and concerns? We'll go till 10, then we'll stop. If there's more comments and concern, we'll bring those up after the hearings. All right, and Deb and Vicky, you're gonna run the hearing process, so I can just be quiet. Good. All right. Do we have any comments or concerns of any person present today?
Yes. Hi, this is John Galaney.
John, can you state your name and spelling the last name and your business address?
Sure. It's John Galaney, Galiney, and it's at 250 Plum Avenue, Saddlebrook, New Jersey.
May I
And-
interrupt for a second, please? John Galaney, Mr. Galaney?
Yes.
Your comment, is that in regard to your hearing?
No,
Or is it in regard to this topic? Because
no,
your
I
hearing
guess-
is scheduled for 10 o'clock. That's the only reason I'm saying. You might be jumping
Oh,
in a
okay.
little early.
Okay, I apologize. I thought you guys were wrapping up, so.
Oh,
No.
Until 10.
No.
Okay, just
no.
hang tight.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Bruce Hunter, can you restate your
Is this the
name?
time when I can ask some questions and make some comments?
Sure. Can you state your name and spelling of your last name and your business address, please?
Yes. My name is R. Bruce, B-R-U-C-E, last name Hunter, H-U-N-T-E-R. My business address is 772 Farmington Avenue, Farmington, Connecticut. As a brief overview, I've been appraising for 42 years. My father before me for 30 plus years. And I have taught all of the introductory and high-level courses, as well as the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice. I've reviewed many appraisal reports and have appraised and still appraise within the state of Connecticut. And I'm concerned for a number of reasons as to what it is that I've heard today, and I suggest that the commission rethink some of their hearing process, particularly in regards to experience review. Now, obviously, I haven't been attending a lot of these, and so maybe I'm new to the process, but it makes me question, and anybody who would be listening to this hearing would question as to whether or not they'd want to go through the process, because and I also want to state that in rejecting the work that has been done by Dan, and I forgot what his last name. It's not important for me. The senior appraiser, the supervisor who's signing off on that, no wonder he is upset, because it's past every regulatory agency, it's past its clients, and yet it's being not considered adequate by members of the board for experience purposes. And the reason why it hasn't been found adequate is by a member of the board who is acting as the reviewer, but yet in the comments that I heard the board member state for reasons for rejection were actually the imposition of that member's judgments in regards to appraisal valuation and arguments in favor of or against other adjustments that were being made. So having to do with measurements versus a picture, having to do with a fireplace versus AC, there is no requirement. And as a standards instructor, and having taught for both the University of Connecticut and the Appraisal Institute and other organizations, there is no requirement to explain what is not included in an appraisal report. And to be clear, there's no such thing as a complete appraisal anymore. So that the argument that was made by the supervisor of this, this isn't a complete appraisal, actually was pretty germane, because when they changed a number of years ago and they got rid of the so-called complete appraisal, they went with two appraisal types. There is a appraisal report, which is the old summary, and you are summarizing what it is that you're talking about. And then there is the restricted appraisal, which is basically you define who your users are. In the case of the summary, you're essentially cutting to the chase. And as long as they have explanations within their file memoranda, which they did, and they were able to give those types of explanations, that should be sufficient. However, when you are imposing your judgment as a prosecutor or a commission member reviewing this work, that is absolutely inappropriate. And in fact, if this was taken and you didn't hear my testimony because it was excluded, which I think is actually improper, because you're asking an appraiser to come back. How many times has that appraiser come back now? I was able to surmise this is like the second or third time. I mean, come on. So, if you want people to become an appraiser or become appraisers, the bar doesn't have to be set arbitrarily where it doesn't belong. And again, I go back now to the Dohertys, which is, the Mr. Doherty and then Doherty the fourth. The question was made as to whether or not you made adjustments to the number of bedrooms. And the Doherty, an explanation in our marketplace, an explanation is, a adjustment isn't made, and therefore it's included in square footage, and that should have been the end of it. That's a great explanation. It's actually reflective of market participants. It actually talks about what buyers and sellers typically look at. But the fact that the question was even raised is of great concern. So I just wanted to bring those points up. And you should really think about, because if you had someone like myself who actually is an expert, and I've been hired by other appraisal commissions to review people's work, maybe what you should consider doing is to hire, if not done internally, is to have an expert look at these work independently and then not be voting on it. So that's one suggestion. And two, take comments from the peanut gallery if it's if it's proper to you. Now, I know you think that that may be improper. Oh, it may actually influence the board members. Well, maybe it should, because there are only 2 appraisers now on the board. The third is not able to be here. And with all due respect for the members of the public, that you're not active appraisers. Maybe you have been, maybe you're a different type. And I don't mean in any way to denigrate your being willing to put up with herding cats, which are kind of appraisers. They're very independent. The issue of adding the course, and I think that it's really wise that you tabled it. Whether or not I can be involved with, because I have other things that are going on, and whether or not I can make that next meeting. I think it's a great idea, but I am absolutely opposed to having Connecticut acting unilaterally and adding beyond the 28 hours or 14 hours per year put in place by the Appraisal Foundation. So if that is entertained, please don't do that. It's one, it acts as a barrier to entry for those people who are coming in. It's one additional, but the fact is, remember that this is something that has to be taken in any case. So if that's part of the 28 hours, this is a decision that has been made by the Appraisal Foundation, and it's not necessary for the Connecticut Appraisal Commission to add on extra hours unless national, the AQB, decides to do such. Now, as I've made a series of kind of unilateral statements, does anybody have any questions or have any questions in regards to what it is I've just volunteered? Yes, Nancy.
I'd like to just add to that. I've been doing this for probably 35 years. I want to let you guys know that I have to take every 2 years, I have to take 40 hours of classes, 40, because, through the years, the appraisal, the appraisal commission, everything was adding hours, that's fine. But I also have to take 12 hours for my broker's license. That was fine when I could blend out some of the elective classes. They're all doing them separate now. So every 2 years, I have to take a full week of classes. It's erroneous after you work in 40 hours a week, and then you have to sort of cram in 40 hours on top of that every 2 years. It's just a tremendous amount of work. And a lot of times, honestly, it keeps you from trying to select really interesting and new courses because you're just trying to get through them. And as they're getting online, they're getting tougher and tougher. I take Appraisal Institute courses. They take me 1.5 hours the time that they say, because I don't read as fast as other people. So I would caution you against adding more hours to these appraisers. I know an appraiser who went into bankruptcy because he was trying to be in his own business, and he was trying to do all the bureaucracy, the filings and everything that he had to do on his own, plus these courses and everything. He just he didn't have enough hours of appraising to support the business with all the other costs and time that's needed to stay in this industry. So I just wanted to add that to Bruce's comments.
Thanks, Nancy. If we get to the point, that'll be a separate thing. And often when we do something that's that dramatic, that's going to, in the past, we do pause. It isn't a rush thing. We go out and we ask for comment. We'll it'll be a thing. That's the same thing happened when we went from the 3 to the 4 hours for the law module and then back to the 3. So it won't be. So any other public comment? Am I missing anybody? I got 2 pages of people here.
Thank you for allowing this comment. I think it's, again, I'm going to reiterate that it's really unfortunate that the commission would not accept feedback in the midst of making a decision on, as an example, Dan's reviews for his work. I thought that's really unfortunate. There should be a place for that. And what happens if he brought in someone who could support his conclusion? Would you then have accepted it? And that's a question really for the attorney, Mr. Attorney or Ms. Attorney. Could you please address that?
A comment period is really just for comments, not really back and forth conversation, but the board can certainly take that under advisement.
Yeah, Bruce,
That's a total attorney kind of weaselly answer that goes not to the process. And
No,
you
Bruce,
have
there's-
just
Bruce,
answered my question.
there is actually
Gentlemen, ladies, have a nice day.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. All right, any other public comment?
I have my hand raised. I don't know how
Someone
to
did.
raise it. It's Jen.
Jennifer, hi, Jennifer. We'll state your name
Hey,
and
how you? So, seems like a little rough morning for you guys. I hope not all the meetings are like this. I don't come to them all. But I'm trying to be more cognizant of what's going on. I do kind of agree. You know, I'm thinking about, it's really hard to make comments at the end because my notes are all over the place, or I had to take a phone call or whatever. And I'm trying to think in our zoning meetings, if like after each section, you don't get a chance to speak, like the public speaks, and then you move on to the next topic. So I just want to throw that out there, not question it. I do think, I think it was on the last meeting Dan was on and this meeting, and it does seem kind of exhaustive for him. I feel like this is his fourth time producing work, which does seem like also a barrier to entry that people, if I had to go after him, I would like be terrified to even go. It just seems so intimidating in the system. And one of the things that I thought of also that Bruce said, and I was trying to think back, like I didn't have to do this when I got my license. There was or maybe I'm just thinking about when I applied for my SRA, like there was a rotating group of people, pairs of people who would review your reports and give you feedback, and then you would go before a board. So I just want to throw out that maybe we need to think about something more like that, if possible, because it's probably all volunteer. And then I just want to make a comment on the hours, which again, I think as you're making a decision about adding hours, we're going to have to discuss all the barriers to entry and the difficulty becoming an appraiser. So I don't think necessarily at this time adding hours is a positive thing for the industry. And I think AI has a 45-day notice on something similar. But I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. I think I had another comment, but obviously I can't follow a train of thought when I'm trying to put it all at the end. And I just wanted to make those comments for your consideration.
thank you, Jennifer. Could you state your name and business address and spelling your name?
Jennifer O'Neill, Jenniffer, O'Neill, Oneill, business address 5 Boat Road, BOAT, in Danbury, Connecticut, 06811.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, we're getting close to the 10 o'clock, so let's, any other comments? Are there any other comments? Because we can take them back at the end. I'll open it up again at the end. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. Vicky and Deb, you want to take over for the hearing portion of it?
Okay. Vicky, you're on. Oh, Vicky's on hold for a second. Could I add a comment while we're waiting for Vicky?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that there appears to be some confusion about our need to approve the mandatory course that's going to be required, the mandatory requirement of this course versus the course itself, because the AQB does not write the course. The different schools write the course, and in that case, they will submit their course for approval when it's ready. But in our regulations, we have in the continuing ed requirements, it is written in that paragraph, in that section, that we're required to take 7-hour USPAP update, the National USPAP update, and our Connecticut appraisal law class. So that's what we're referring to, adding the requirement to the regulations, not the course itself. Each course that's submitted under that title needs to be approved, just like when the schools submit their courses, their application to teach USPAP. That's done individually. We're just saying it needs to be added to our regulations. I just want to make that clarification.
Correct, correct. I think I triggered this off by saying that we still have to vote on whether we're going to add hours or include it within the existing 28 hours, which came up last meeting too. And when we were in the in-person meeting, when this first came out, we lightly talked about it. All right, is Vicky here? Jennifer, I see you have your hand up, but Vicky was supposed to start at 10 on the
I am
hearings.
here, and I am here, Mr. Chair, for today. I just sent you the script that has to be read when we actually start the hearings. I think it went to your private email, to your personal email. I did get a call from Mr. Greenlawn. I just wanted to see if he was here. He had indicated that he was having problems, or he hadn't gotten I do see him here.
Yes, I am here now. It came on.
Okay, thank you
a
so
little
much.
while
That's
after
fine.
that.
And I had also, let me check one other person. There was also Mr. Palmer. Is Mr. Palmer here?
I'm on. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So based on those two calls that I had just received, other than that, I believe that the department would be ready to proceed. Mr. Chair, or acting chair, if you will. Do you have the script? Do you want to take a minute to just review that and then we can start?
Am I supposed to read this, Vicky, or are you actually going to be taking?
Well, I don't read it because I'm not the person that's in charge, if you will, as the chair. The board, if you will, has to have a person that kind of acts as the lead. I'm just a prosecuting attorney. So in that capacity, it would be you.
Okay, that was a short answer. So I guess since
Oh,
I'm the
somebody has their
script.
hand raised. I'm sorry. Somebody has their hand raised. Should we take that question before we begin? I'm sorry. Maybe
All
there's
right, Jennifer, you got a quick question? Is it Jennifer?
Jennifer
Yeah,
O'Neill, yes.
Thank you, Vicky. That was very thoughtful. And Debbie, I just wanted to thank you for your clarification on that, because I think it was important that people know the difference. And as John said, I think even earlier today, he was wavering on his original thought about adding more hours with the regulatory thing that you're adding anyway. So it was just a good clarification, and it was just sort of a statement to say where I stood on John's previous opinion, I guess. That's all. So, but thank you. It was really good. And thanks, Vicky. Sorry, I don't see everyone's name clearly. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start the hearings now. All right, good morning. My name is John Galvin. I am the commissioner. Have been designated by the commissioner of the Department of Consumer Protection as the hearing officer for today's hearings. Is this what you want me to read, Vicky?
Yes, that's correct.
For the record, this hearing is convened at 10 a.m. on October 9th, 2024 by way of Microsoft Teams video conference platform. We are here for case numbers 2024. You want me to read them all off, Vic?
Oh, you can if you have, do you have them all?
Yeah, if I
Yes,
have
okay,
one.
yes,
Yep.
yep, that's fine.
2024 123, 2024 174, 2024 200, 2024 240, 2024 246, 2024 265, 2024 274, 2024 161, 2024 268, 2024 142, 2024 252, and 2024 194. Are there any additions?
There are no additions. There may be some deletions as we go along.
Okay.
There's some people who had just settled their case like yesterday, so there may be some.
All right. So this is a contested case hearing being held by the Connecticut Real Estate Commission for various cases that will be stated as we proceed. The department has alleged violations of the Connecticut General Status Sections 21A-7, 21A-9, 20-517 of the Connecticut General Statutes and regulations of the Connecticut State Agencies. This hearing is being held in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes, the Uniform Administrative Procedures Act, and the regulations of the Connecticut State Agencies. Testimony will be given under oath, and the rules of evidence as set forth in the Administrative Procedures Act for hearings will apply. I'd like to start with a few ground rules, and then we can get into the substance of the hearing. Because the hearing is being recorded and transacted, sorry about that. Because the hearing is being recorded and transacted and transcribed, I ask that everyone please speak slowly and clearly and one at a time, as it is difficult to get a clear transcript if more than one person is speaking at a time. If you have a question, please use the raised hand function. And does everyone know how to do that? Everybody who's here for the hearing, if you don't, you can speak up at that time. If you have technology issues during the hearing, we may need to reschedule. If you need technical assistance, you can email dcp.helpdesk@ct.gov. Does everybody have that? That's dcp.helpdesk@ct.gov, or you can, if you can type in the chats. Please do not drive at the same time as you are participating. I'll ask that participants to keep their video cameras on throughout the hearing unless told otherwise. Please keep your microphone on mute when you are not speaking. If a participant leaves the microphone on when someone else is speaking, we may place you on mute. Please do everything possible to reduce any background noise, such as the phones that are around you. When you are speaking, please state your name when you begin to speak. Please disclose please do not disclose. I don't understand this one here. Disclose confidential information during the hearing unless it is specifically requested or necessary to put on your case, as the hearing is being recorded and it is available for public viewing. Members of the public are able to watch the hearing, but will not have an opportunity to speak during the hearing and must remain muted. I'm going to repeat that one. Members of the public are able to watch the hearing, but will not have an opportunity to speak during the hearing and must remain muted. Any exhibits that were sent to prior to the hearing would not be considered unless they are entered into as evidence during the hearing as an exhibit. The party seeking to admit evidence must reference the document, request to enter the exhibit into the record. Now that I've asked every party, intervener, or witness to please identify yourself by first and last name. We're going to go one at a time. Spell your name, state your address, and identify what your role here today is. I'll begin with the representative from the department, Attorney Bullock.
Good morning, everyone. Vicki Bullock, Staff Attorney, Department of Consumer Protection, 450 Columbus Boulevard, Suite 901. And I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so who's first? 224, 123?
Well,
I don't know any names.
Well, we don't know names. We don't know names. But before we begin with the actual individual cases, there's one thing that I need to bring up. Rachel, I just sent you a copy of the Secretary of State's posting, and that's required to be entered into the record to know that this was made available to the public. Did you receive that email?
Yep, I got the email. Do you want me to share it?
Yes, if you would be so kind, if you could share it. And that's what I'll do. I'll send each individual file to you so that I think that goes a little bit smoother. Okay, so this document, which is the document that's required to be posted to the Secretary of State's office, we did post it, and the date that it was submitted, I'm not sure when, is this the one for today's date? Let's see. Yeah, for October 9th, it was submitted, and I would offer this as Exhibit 1.
Okay.
If there's no objections, then this would be Exhibit 1. Now, I will say this because I haven't worked with this hearing coordinator previously, what generally happens is we would now save the exhibit as exhibit 1 because some things may be objected to. So I don't have numbers on things per se, only because I don't know what's going to be accepted or not. But I believe there's no objection to this being part of the record as exhibit 1. Okay, so that would be a full exhibit. And now we can begin with the individual licensees. The first licensee would be Mr. Greenwald, and that is case 24-123, and I do believe that he is here. And I just want to make sure, Madam Hearing Coordinator, did you, or I should say, our coordinator, did you receive his file? Have you received his file?
Yes, I received that email.
Okay, yep, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so, sir, are you able to show your face?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and where are you? I'm trying to see where you are. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm not sure if you're swearing the witnesses in or you just asked them to affirm. I'm not sure what your
No, basically, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to Mr.
No,
Oh, I'm
Galvin
sorry.
Essex.
yeah, so, Dan Greenlaw, can you state your name and the spelling of your last name and your business address?
Sure. My name is Dan Greenlaw, Greenlaw, 187 Lovers Lane, Unit 42, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790.
Okay. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give this case shall be true, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay, so Vicky, you want to take it from here?
Yes, I can. Sir, you had received a DocuSign from the department relative to your continuing education matter, had you not?
Yes.
Okay, could you please bring up, Rachel, could you please bring up the DocuSign document? I just want to have him take a look at it so we can identify that. Okay, sir, are you able to see that document?
Yes.
Okay, just making it a little bit bigger, so that would be helpful.
Okay.
That part would be helpful. Okay, all right. And then I think the date that's indicated there is June 24th, and it appears as though you did sign it, and I think that's on the last page.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So relative to having received the DocuSign document, did you submit a request to come before the board relative to extenuating circumstances that you had, which I believe is right here on this page that says extenuating circumstances?
That's correct.
Okay, I would first offer this as, I believe this would be Exhibit 2, which is the DocuSign of Mr. Greenlaw. There are no objections, which there shouldn't be. In your DocuSign, you had indicated that you had some extenuating circumstances and that you wish to come before the board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so based on that, at this time, if you would like to discuss your extenuating circumstances without getting too personal, because it is a public record, you may do so.
Okay. Well, I had some health issues at home, and I ended up having to be taken to the hospital by ambulance. I spent the April 10th through the 13th in the hospital. After that, I had daily on doctor's appointments to address the issues after I was released. 14th, 15th, 16th, 19th, 22nd, 24th, 25th, 25th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 29th, 30th, 30th, 30th. And then I went back to the hospital again by ambulance and spent from May 1st to May 6th there. I realized that's after the date, but during that full period of time, I was really, as you can see, I was trying to recuperate, and it ended up not being successful. So I ended back up in the hospital. And as soon as I got out of the hospital, I finished up my continuing ed. So I realized I was past the due date. But I do feel that I had extenuating circumstances in that I spent a lot of time in the hospital, a lot of time receiving medical care during that period of time.
Okay, and are you before the, I'll say, commission today to ask for either a waiver of the fine, or what is it that you're seeking today?
I'm asking a waiver for extenuating circumstances. If not, certainly I'd like the fine reduced, but I prefer to, I prefer to have it waived considering the circumstances.
I don't have any further questions of this witness at this time. I will put in the other documents relative to the complaint and all of that after, as part of the record, if you will, for this particular person.
Okay. Anybody, Dan, I'm sorry that you're struggling with the situation. This all occurred in 2020, 2, 3, 4?
4.
4. Okay. And so, you couldn't take your, you didn't take your continuing education in 2023? Is that what this?
Well, I had some other things there. I didn't go back further on it, but I had eye surgery. I've had a rough year and a half. Basically, I've been in the hospital several times in 23 and everything else. I thought the current ones were the ones that were most appropriate, but I certainly can go back further if you would like.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Have you been able to, Debbie, has he finished his continuing education? Is it all set?
Yes, he's completed all 28 hours for the 2024 requirement. 3 courses were completed past April 30th of this year. He has no CE related disciplinary action. Well, actually, he has no history of late or missed CE prior to this cycle.
Okay, so all we're discussing is, so he's continually, he's licensed, he's all set. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
So I'm sorry, what was the first date that he had in there? What was the first date that you went to the hospital?
Well, in 24 was April 10th.
April 10th. And
But,
are you
but
aware
that was
that
by
are you aware
excuse
that
me, I'm
they,
sorry.
I'm sorry, were you aware that this continuing ed actually was supposed to be done by January 31st?
I was not aware of that. I believe that law was passed after the prior continuing ed. And I was kind of surprised to see that when that occurred, but I was not aware of that at that time. I think, like I said, I think they changed, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall in the prior continuing ed any mention of them moving up the date for it. Maybe I missed it in the education continuing ed from prior, but I wasn't aware of that. Again, I did say that I did have, again, I can go back into 23. I had eye surgery on October 26th. I was in the hospital also on October 26th. Went to the emergency room in September 29th. I mean, for the last year and a half, I have had significant medical issues. I didn't go beyond that because I felt the most pertinent ones were this, but I do have a list of everything going back pretty much through January of 23. If you like, I can read through those too also.
I don't think it's really necessary. Anybody have any other questions for Mr. Greenlaw?
Mr. Greenlaw, Mr. Rasmussen here.
Oh,
Who did you take your Connecticut law classes from? Do you recall? This time and the previous time, do you go to the same provider?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And it's the online oh man, I can't think of his name offhand, but I would assume it's the one that about 90% of them go to because it's the only one I see when I do Google.
McKissick?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Dan
Thank
Bradley.
you. No other questions. Thank you, Mr. Greenlaw.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to waive the fine and penalty to Mr. Greenlaw.
Second? Anybody second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
My only concern is that it came after the January 31st. Really, that was when it was supposed to be done. I mean, if it was certainly before then, I would have had a different opinion on that. They already gave a grace between those months. And it is, this did come out the last cycle, right, Deb? So everybody was aware that this had to be done by January 31st. That's my comment.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody oppose?
I'll say nay.
Anybody abstain? Okay, Dan, your fee has been waived.
Okay.
Thank you very
So,
much.
Okay, so as it stands now, the $400 fee has been waived. I just want to make sure that the record is clear for Mr. Greenlaw, which is case 24-123.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, before we proceed, can I turn this over to Jerry? Jerry, do you want to take it or do you want me to keep going here?
Well, just let me, can he start in a few minutes? Let me just finish putting in the other exhibits, just so that the record is clear for this one, and then he could take over if that's a little bit more
All right,
helpful.
great.
Okay,
you.
so I believe that you have the exhibits, Rachel, and I just wanted to add, as part of the department's record, if you will, the complaint. I think you do have that, and I just wanted to bring that up and share that so that Mr. Greenlaw can see that, well, he's here, but he got the complaint. Are you able to share that document? Or, I don't, those are the completed certificates I think he has. I think there was a complaint, yeah. That one, yeah.
I'm not, okay, so this
Yep,
was
that's
the one
it,
that we
yep,
showed before.
I'm sorry. That's okay, I apologize, yep. As part of the department's requirement, the department did send Mr. Greenlaw a complaint of today's proceedings. I would offer that into the record, if you will, just so that the record is complete for this matter.
Okay, is that it, Vic, for this?
Okay, and then the other, be patient, please.
Okay.
We've all had a rough day today.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
so
Well,
yes,
this is my
we've all
first
had a
time
rough
doing
day
it.
today. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we have the DocuSign. I have to have that. I have to have the complaint. And because he's here, I think that would be sufficient. So I think that's sufficient because he is here. Yeah.
All right. So he's all set now?
I think he's all set now. Yes, thank you for your patience.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dan, and I hope you feel better.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thank you. All right, Jerry, do you want to take over or you want me to keep rolling here?
John, since I've just parachuted in, feel free. It's all yours.
Okay, I'll battle through. All right, the next one, 224-174. Who's that?
That would be
Well,
me.
well, can I just say one thing? I was taking it in numeric order. So I have 20, I sent a record to Rachel for 24-142.
I didn't read off a 142. Oh, 142, here it is. Yep, it's way down the bottom. I'm sorry, I'm reading them as they were printed on our agenda.
Okay, that may be. I'm taking it in numeric order. So 123 is first, 142, and then I have
Okay, so we'll take 142 now.
Yeah. Okay, so 142.
All right, so 224, 142. Who was that?
That is Mr. Galani. Galani.
Mr. Glenn, are you here? You were here.
Yeah, he was here because he had spoken earlier.
You don't mean Mr. Galuli, do you?
No, that's Gool. This is Galiney.
Thank you.
No problem.
I think he might be here. Hold on.
All right, you want to move on to the next one and circle back?
Yes, I can do that. So the next person for the next one, and I'm going to have to say the exhibits, but I can do that. Just one second. The next one will be 24-174, and I believe he is here because he spoke to me today. That will be Mr. Palmer.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Palmer. Where are you? Are you on the camera?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Can you state your name, spell your name and your business address?
Sure. It's Anthony Palma. It's ANTHONY PALMA. I'm at 53 Forest Brook Drive, Boston Lake, New York, 12019.
Okay, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon the
will.
penalty of perjury?
Oh, sorry, I will.
Okay, thank you. All right, Vicky, you want to start?
Okay, so I just sent that record, and the first thing is, of course, the DocuSign. And the department believes that it did send a DocuSign to the licensee. And I'm not sure if that has been received, if that file has been received yet, but if it has, we can bring that up.
I haven't gotten it yet, sorry.
Okay. Well, in the interim, I can say that he is here, so I guess he's not contesting the fact. We can add that. Sir, do you want to tell us, you had indicated that you had some extenuating circumstances, or can you tell us what your situation is?
Sure. So I am a reciprocal license holder. I have licenses in 5 different states with all different, we all know we all have different CEC cycles. I was probably on my fault unaware of the 90-day until I took the law class and realized that I was within that timeline where it was too close to the renewal date. But I still took all the continued ed courses, submitted everything. I requested the hearing, but at the same time, I paid the fine because I didn't want to jeopardize my standing with the state. So I did pay the fine already. So I'm sitting before the board just to see, and I appreciate your time, to see if there's any way to have a one-time waiver of the fee or a reduction of the fee. I know I am responsible for putting everything in time, and now I am fully aware of the 90-day period, so I will not be missing that in the future. I've never had a license. I've never been in front of the board for anything in my 20 plus years as an appraiser. So I was just asking for forgiveness this one time, if possible.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Palmer? So your primary reason was you just took the law class a little too late in the year and you didn't have enough time to scramble to get when'd you take the law class?
I'm looking at my certificates that have been submitted, and I'm just realizing that it was June 10th, which is, I think, after the renewal date, correct? So I think what happened is that when I did the online renewal, and I stated I took all my classes, that's when I remembered that there was a law class for Connecticut. So I jumped on to take it and then submitted it when I got the notice from y'all about missing the deadline. So that's 100% on my part. I do take responsibility for that. So I'm just asking for the one-time either reduction in the fee that I have already paid or a waiver. I understand, like I said before and stated before, that I'm the one who's responsible for knowing all this stuff and getting it in time. And I'm just in front of the board just to ask for, forgiveness this one time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Palmer. Any comments from any of the questions with Jerry? You have any questions or comments?
I do, Mr. Palmer. You have gained the Connecticut license through reciprocal process from the state of New York?
Correct.
And when did you receive, or how long have you had a Connecticut license?
I've had a Connecticut license for, I will let you know because I have all of my stuff here. 2022. So this would be my, I guess, third full year, going into my third full year, if I remember correctly.
Okay. How many times have you taken the Connecticut law class? Have you taken it twice or once?
I think it would probably be, this would have been maybe the third time.
Okay.
Was
And
it in effect last year as well? Is that where you're going?
it has been.
Okay, so
for some
so I
time.
probably was aware of it. If I took it last year, so I probably was aware at that time, and it just slipped my mind as I was getting continuing ed done for the other states.
Who is the provider? Where are you getting your Connecticut law class? Who is the provider for that class?
McKissick.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I think by now you may have received the exhibits. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Can you bring up the DocuSign if you'd be so kind? Okay, sir, Mr. Palmer, I'm going to ask if you recognize this document, if you recall having received this DocuSign from June 24th, 2024.
Yeah, it looks familiar. Yes.
Okay, and then as we scroll up the page, we'll see that there was an indication that you had asked to come before the board. Okay.
Yes.
For your extenuating circumstances, and
Yeah.
I would offer this as a full exhibit, if I may. And is this four? Is this four?
Who are you asking that to, Vicky?
Ratio. That was exhibit 4. I believe that's exhibit 4. Is that
Yes, sorry. Yeah, that's exhibit 4.
That's okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. So that's exhibit 4. So I would offer that as a full exhibit. And the only reason why I am making sure that these DocuSigns are in and that we have it as a full exhibit is because otherwise each of the licensees would be entitled to a compliance meeting. And if they ask to go before the commission, then we didn't necessarily have a compliance meeting because I don't have the ability to waive the fine if that's what the determination is. So that's why it's important that we indicate that they, has put down that they had extenuating circumstances, because that allows them to go directly to the board or to the commission. Thank you. All right, so this would be exhibit 4. And then the other thing that I would ask you to bring up, please, is the complaint. Okay, right, and the complaint was served on the respondent or the licensee. He is aware of it, and that's why we're here today. I would offer this as a full exhibit, which would be exhibit 5. I don't believe there's any objection, so I think that's it. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, anything else, Vicky, or do we go to a vote?
That's it. Because he's here, I'm not, putting in the, email that was sent to him because he's here. He's present. So obviously he was aware of today's proceedings. So I don't have anything else to put in to answer your question. Thank you. You
Mr.
can go
Palmer,
to
you
a
have
vote.
anything? Mr. Palmer, you have anything else you want to add?
I do not. Oh, you know what? If I may, if I can make a comment after this about the ending of the last meeting, or is that something different?
That's something different. We
Okay.
can bring that up at the end. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Is anybody have Jennifer, Jerry, Norris, Maria, Ashana? Anybody have any more? Somebody want to make a motion?
I have no more questions. Thank you.
Anybody want to make a motion? Anybody want to make a motion to deny Mr. Palmer's appeal?
I will make the motion to deny his appeal.
Somebody want to second that?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anybody opposed? Sorry, Mr. Palmer, but you've been denied there.
Well, I thank you for your time. I know it's all on me, like I paid the fine already, but I do thank you for your time and hearing me out.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
And I just want to reflect so that the record is clear that the fine has already been paid. So we're all set with that. Thank you.
All
And
right.
thank you for your time. sir.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so who's next, Vicky? Which one
The
you want to do
next one
next?
that I have that we will be going forward on is 24-200, Mr. Gulili.
Gill.
Gill.
He's
Hi, Mr.
here.
Gu-
He's here. I know he's here.
Mr. Galoo, you want to state your name, spell your last name, your name and your business address?
Good morning. Yes, my name is John Gillooly. That's spelled JohnGillooly. I work at Integra Realty Resources at 25A Vreeland Road, Vreeland Road in Florham Park, New Jersey. 07932, I believe is the zip.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. Vicky?
Okay, so I would ask if we can bring up the DocuSign. I think that was the first document relative to this matter. Okay, and this was also sent out on June 24th. And if we scroll up. Were no extenuating circumstances provided, but in the course of having spoken with him, he did sign. So the department has allowed him to come forward to express what his concerns are relative to this matter. I would offer this as a full exhibit, which I believe would be Exhibit 6. Okay, sorry. Did you have it? I'm sorry. Mrs. Galvin, did you have a question, comment?
Were there any other exhibits?
I do have, I can bring up the complaint, if you'd be so kind to bring up the complaint. Yes, this is the complaint that the department had provided in this matter. And the department indicates that he did affirm that he had completed the coursework within a certain period of time. And the notice hearing does indicate that the proceeding is today at 10 o'clock.
All right, has he completed all his classes now?
I can ask Deborah as to the status for Mr. Galini. Galooly, I'm sorry, Mr. Galooly, I'm sorry, Galooly.
Mr. Galooly.
Yes.
Yes, he's completed the 28 hours for 24. Both mandatories were completed in July of 24. He had missed both mandatory courses, the Connecticut Appraisal Law and the 7-hour use PAP update.
All right, Mr. Galoo, you got the floor to plead your case.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to come before the board. I am a new licensee in Connecticut. I also achieved my Connecticut license through reciprocity, so I do have experience in New Jersey with a state certified general license, and I understand that there's a cycle of education. I got my license in Connecticut in June of 2023. So that's I at that time I expected there was a longer time period. I wasn't aware of the requirement for submission early and those things. And when my renewal came up, I did submit hours. Some of those were denied because I didn't understand the requirements for, I think it's 3-hour minimums and so forth. So I did update my continuing ed. I took some additional courses and I took the required. I just didn't expect this renewal even to come up so fast as it did. I was notified, no question about it, but I was just caught short in the timing. And, you know, the cycles in New Jersey are different from the cycles in Connecticut. So some of my use PAP and so forth were out of the cycle. So that's why it's merely an oversight here. I understand that I wasn't compliant, but it's because I'm a new licensee in Connecticut. And so that's why I would just ask for some leniency here, overturning the ruling. This is also, you know, my first time before a board. And I would just ask that this penalty be overturned and perhaps the fine reduced if that's appropriate.
Okay, I have two questions for you, Mr. One, how long have you been appraising? Like a licensed appraiser?
I've been a
In
licensed
New
appraiser since 1992, which when licensing
New
came
Jersey,
into
okay.
being. Yes.
And when did you take the Connecticut law 3-hour law class?
It was after the time I've submitted my renewal.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions on the commission? Gary?
Mr. Galoli, you've been listening, so you're getting a common thought from me. Who was the provider that you took the Connecticut law class from?
I took that with McKissick also.
Okay, thank you. May I ask, did they, when you took the class, so that was relatively recently, was there any mention or emphasis placed on due dates and so forth, or maybe you do not recall?
You know, I don't recall
Okay.
the course that in that detail. That's usually covered, but this was all after the date, so
Yes.
I was unaware.
Before getting a reciprocal in the state of Connecticut, are there any other states that outside of the state of New Jersey that you hold a appraisal license with at the current time?
Yes, New York State and Pennsylvania.
Okay. And with Pennsylvania, you're aware they also have their state law class that you have to take every cycle, as does New Jersey.
Sure, I am aware.
Okay.
My problem here was that my renewal notice came and I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, I had notice of it, but it wasn't at the forefront of my mind, and I had to scramble at that point.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, Shauna, Maria Norris, any questions? Vicky, Debbie?
Yes, I just have a comment. When anyone applies for a reciprocal license, I send them an email letting them know that their license was approved and also informing them of the upcoming due date. So Mr. Galuli received an email from me on June 26th of 23. Yeah, 6/26/23 with that information. I just forwarded it to you.
I do concur that I was notified at that point.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments or questions? I just want to take a minute to read this
I was
email.
going to make a motion to approve or waive his fee, but now I don't know. So you did get that email back in 23. Could you
I did.
explain more why you think you didn't do it on time?
It's really a matter of the cycle. I did not realize the cycle was going to end in 9 months. I thought most cycles are 2 years, and while it may not have been a full 2 years, it just came upon me faster than I realized.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'm gonna make the motion to approve his appeal, giving it that it is his very first time.
Somebody want to second that? Anybody want
I'll
to second
second it. I'll
All right.
second it.
Any discussion?
Jerry, you do this all the time. You go to so many different, how many states are you licensed in? And when you have the first time, obviously you're part of the commission, you understand the urgency, but any information on that?
Well, to answer your question, I'm licensed in every state, and I know there are many, many cycles. And yes, we have charts, and I spend one Saturday morning every single month doing nothing but this type of thing. So I'm not in this type of position. However, there are times where different boards around the country decide to switch parameters and candidly not, and I let people know. So it's really I'm saying to Mr. Galuli here, you have 4 states, that you're licensed in, and I feel your pain, but it's one of those responsibilities once you take on, you got to live by their rules. And as much as I try, and you will find it the same way, I'm sure, that you end up taking USPAT 3 times in every 2-year cycle because it has to match up to everyone's matrix, their boxes, their times. Is it a challenge? Yeah, but it's, once you take that on, that's part of the responsibility that we have to do.
All right, any other discussion? Comments? Questions? All right, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Any abstain? All right, you're all set, Mr. Galuli.
So what is the final determination? Just so I can make sure the record's clear.
That we waived his penalty. For
Okay.
the first time offender.
Okay, so in this instance, because you are waiving the fine or civil settlement fee, he's already paid it. So we have to reimburse him, and so that will take a little bit of time, but you will get reimbursed for the monies that you have paid. I just wanted to be aware of that, and I say thank you for your cooperation in this process.
Thank you.
I just have one question. Is there a publication of this hearing beyond today's recording?
No.
Thank you to the board members. I appreciate your courtesy. And to
don't
you, Ms.
forget that-
Bowler.
Thank you. I just want to say, and don't forget, the numbers are the case numbers. We do it by case numbers, 2024, 200. And so unless somebody really delved into it and, kind of researched it a little bit, and nothing is reported to the ASC in this instance because it has been waived. So you're in good standing, not to worry.
Thanks for that clarification. And believe me, I will pay more attention next cycle.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, he's all set then, Vic? No
Yeah,
other exhibits?
wait, yeah,
Okay.
No, I don't
All right,
need to
so
put any other exhibits. No,
What's
thank you.
next?
Okay, the next one that I have is 24-40 Robert. I'm not so sure how to pronounce his name. I don't want to insult him in any
Biowitz, I
way.
think.
For Biowitz?
Chris Biowitz?
Chris Biowitz, okay, is that it? Is he here?
Doesn't look like it. I don't see those initials.
Okay, so my thought is if he's not here, I'm going to, as a professional courtesy, move this matter over to November because we do have one other person who will be appearing in November. So I'll move this matter over 20-24 to 40 over to the November hearing date, just to be certain. I do believe we did give him adequate notice. I have all of that documentation, but I would like to afford him another opportunity, and then if not, then we'll proceed.
Vicky,
what
will
we
that also be done for 2024-142?
142 at this time, yes. Thank you for that
Okay.
reminder. I can go back,
Thank
yes.
you.
So my thought is for 142, the department also believes that it's served, adequate notice and all of that. My thought is that we can move that over to November. We use that as our catch-all date, if you will, and allow that person to also come to the November hearing. Yes, thank you.
All right, so now we have, the next one I have is 224. Is it 246 you want to do next?
The next one that I have is 24265.
Okay, we're
Vicky,
gonna
can
go-
I just,
Sorry,
this is,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is Charles Gardner. I was 161. I just want to make sure it seems like
Oh.
we're going in chronological
We
order,
are
so I just
going in
want to,
chronological order. And sir, you actually had spoken prior to us even beginning. So did I miss you? Let me see.
And while you're looking up, Vicky, I just want to make a note to the commissioners that it does appear that John Galini is on board here. He is the 973 number, the telephone.
Mr.
He's
Galini
called
is
in.
here? Okay, thank you for
Okay.
that
Yep.
clarification. I apologize, Mr. Gardner. We can do you next, not to worry. It may
okay,
have been
okay. I
oversight
just
on
want to
my
make sure
part.
you didn't forget me. Thank you.
We don't
All right,
forget anyone.
let's keep going here. Let's do 224-161, Mr. Galini, because he's in
Well,
order.
no,
Let's
I
do
don't,
that.
well, no, Mr. Galini is here and I've already sent his file. I have to send the file for each person. I did not send 161 as of yet. So if we could do, Mr. Galini, because he's by telephone, right? Is that who that is?
Yes,
The-
973
Okay.
here. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I do believe that we do have his file was already previously forwarded. Sir, are you here? Can you unmute yourself?
Rochelle, are you able to unmute him?
I can't unmute the phone. They have
Okay.
to do it on their phone.
Okay, can we put it in the chat that he's up next? And if while you're doing that, I can get 161. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't know the names of who these people are. So 161, is that what you're working on?
Yeah, I'm going to, yeah. It's Mr. Gardner.
All right, Mr. Gardner, are you there?
I sure am, yes.
Can you state your name and spell your name and then your address too, business address, please?
Charles Gardner, that's Gardner. And my business address is 1200 Corporate Center Way, Suite 203, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33414.
Okay. You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. All right, Vicky, do you want to post whatever you have?
Yes, just 1 second, please. Sir, can you indicate to us your reasoning for being here today?
Yes, I was renewing a reciprocal license that had expired on April 30th of 24. I had submitted all the continuing ed, but apparently we had forgotten the 3-hour state law course that was part of that 28 hours. So I had received notice, excuse me, that we had received the fine. So I was hoping to have that fine waived.
Okay, can you tell us when it is that you had taken the course?
The course was taken after the expiration, so it was credited through McKissick, just to avoid that question, on August 26th of 24.
I'm not sure, I was frozen there. I don't know if there's any further questions. I don't have any further questions of him.
Okay, so Mr. Gardner, you have anything else to say, or you're all set there?
Yeah, no, all I wanted to say was, we, much like Jerry had just mentioned, I run a national practice. I'm licensed in probably anywhere from 35 to 40 states on average during the course of the year. The only issue that I really have here is, again, this is on me. We have our, I keep a complete spreadsheet of our various licenses when the renewal dates are. We did the continuing ed through McKissick, submitted it early, prior, I think it was in February or March, prior to the April 30 expiration. Unfortunately, McKissick doesn't flag you to make sure that, we had complied, we were over the 28 hours, but that doesn't flag you to mention that you need, make sure that you added in the 3-hour state law course. We submitted the application for the renewal in a timely manner. Check off, yes, we did the 28 hours. Again, that doesn't get flagged as, oh, did you include the 3-hour course? So again, it certainly is an error on my part. I'm not going to deny that. I would recommend, just as what happens in some other states, is if the application is not complete, that it gets rejected, right? And it just tells you, you missed this piece. Yes, you did have the 28 hours, but you're missing this one piece, rather than have the license be accepted and renewed and then, get flagged for this after the fact and the penalty. So that's all I wanted to, be on this, just to kind of make that recommendation. Again, I certainly recognize, we did the continuing ed in a timely manner. We missed this piece. I would just recommend, that there are other states where that would be the case, where you would simply, your application would be rejected as incomplete, and then you would avoid this problem. I've carried a reciprocal license in Connecticut for several years. This just sort of slipped through the cracks, but it's just a recommendation that, if that were to be the way this was structured, we could potentially avoid this, you could avoid this problem down the road. Because all you get is a check mark to say, did you do your 28 hours? Yes. Okay, which we did. That was all submitted. There was no issue with that. It was just that 3-hour, state piece.
John, I think you're on mute, John.
I am on mute. I'm not on mute now. Any questions or comments from any other commissioners?
Yeah, Mr. Gardner. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you have taken the law class in the past, right?
Yes, we have. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jerry.
No, I was just going to ask, how long have you had the Connecticut license?
For several years.
Okay.
Years. I've worked in Connecticut for a long time.
Okay.
February 18th, 21 is his first issue.
Okay.
So he would have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Debbie, was this really his first time through the full cycle? Help me with dates. 21.
Well, he would have had to complete the CE requirement for 22, and so then this would have been the second cycle. Mm-hmm.
So he did for the 22 thing. You said his license was issued in, I'm sorry,
February 18th of 21.
Okay, so he was able to meet the 22 cycle in 11 months. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
Debbie,
wanted to get
he did
clarification.
a full audit in 22 as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He has no prior history of late CE or any other disciplinary action in Connecticut.
Yeah. And as I said, I mean, we just missed it. It would I don't want to try to, I don't have an excuse for missing it. It fell through the cracks. It didn't get flagged by McKissick or the state when we submitted, because it just asks you again, do you have your 28 hours? We submit all the certificates. Yes. My team is like, okay, no, we're good. We've got everything in. And that would just be my recommendation, moving forward, is if there was a toggle button there that, mentions, did you comply with this piece as well? It would perhaps help clear up something like this in the future. But I can tell you from my end, I've got our spreadsheets updated, so it does not happen again in the future. But, you know, it just slipped through the cracks on our end.
Okay.
To my fellow commissioners, tell me how Mr. Gardner's situation will be different from Mr. Galuli's that we just heard.
In my
Multiple
opinion,
states. You go ahead, Shauna.
It's his second time, the other person's first time. We did change the cycle this time as well from, you had to have it by the end of January, even though everybody was supposed to know. And we did give a waiver for people in between. I know he came after the fact too, still, but it was his first time. That's the only difference I see.
Okay.
Any more questions or comments from anybody? Vicky, Debbie, Jennifer, Norris, Maria? Who am I missing? All right, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to deny. Sorry about that, but I just think that after you've been through the cycle, you should be more aware of that. So I'm going to make a motion to deny this appeal.
Somebody want to second that? One more time. Somebody want to second that? Okay. So if nobody's seconding that, does somebody want to make another motion?
I think because I hear you, Shauna, I'm thinking I could almost hear people in the background saying being consistent, and I'm trying to weigh what you were saying here, versus the Galuli, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm looking at my notes here. The Galuli situation, I don't know if they seem pretty similar to me. That's where you and I are pretty much in lockstep on a lot of these type of things here. But in my thoughts, since we've given Mr. Galuli a waiver, I feel a little bit boxed in, and we'll make a motion to waive Mr. Gardner's fee, so to speak, or
Somebody
penalty,
want to
whatever
second
it is.
that? Anybody seconding that? Jennifer, Norris, Maria, Shauna? All right, we got to do something here, guys.
I'll second it for
Okay,
discussion
Jennifer's
purposes.
second. Any more discussion? Okay, all in
I
favor?
wanted to ask, Shauna brought up a point. I do want to discuss. Shauna, you're on, Shauna?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, Mr. Gardner, his first time was in February 23. When was Mr.
21.
Galuli's? Because you make a good point here. When was Mr. Galuli's? Oh, 21. Excuse
No.
me. Is
He's
that correct?
21. The other person was 23.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing where your position, Shauna. I was just trying to think this through. Okay. I have no other questions. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hold things up.
All right, so I got to go to a vote on this motion. Unless you want to change your motion, you're all set?
Now you have to vote on this motion at this point
Yeah.
because you have a second.
All in favor of denying Mr.
No.
Jerry's
was waiving.
Waiving. All in favor of waiving, thank you. Mr. Gardner's penalty?
Aye.
Okay, we got one aye so far. Any nays?
Nay.
Any abstaining? All right, I want to just clarify.
Is Jen and Norris on?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Norris, you got to vote?
Yes.
You're a
Aye.
yes? You're an aye? Okay, Jennifer?
Aye.
She's on mute.
Maria?
Maria's gone.
Maria's gone? Okay, so it passes. Anybody, any no's? No no's? Anybody abstaining?
Well, I was a no. I was a nay.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so just so the record is clear, the commission has decided
To
What?
waive Mr.
To waive?
Gardner's, to
Okay,
waive
I
Mr.
just
Gardner's
want
fee.
waive fee.
Okay.
Okay, all right, that's great news. Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that my records here are complete. What I need to do at this point in time is to, and I think it's just coming in now, is to put a couple of things into the record relative to his complaint, the department's complaint. I didn't find, and Deb, perhaps you can help me, I did not see the DocuSign.
Hold on one second.
Can you bring up, Rachel, can you bring up the complaint? And then the department can enter that into the record if you have it, yes. Okay, so if there are no objections, if you will, I'm not sure what that
I
side
have the
noise.
DocuSign here.
Okay, would you be so kind as to forward that to Rachel and myself?
Sure.
Thank you.
Will do.
Okay, so I would offer that this would be a full exhibit, the complaint, which I believe would be document 8. Is this exhibit 8? Rachel, are my numbers okay? I think that's exhibit 8.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to pull up my list. It
Oh,
is 8.
I apologize. Yep, oh, that's fine. Okay. Yep, so that's exhibit 8, and that would be a full exhibit, and then the DocuSign will be exhibit 9. Once that we reach
Yep.
that, I think
It's on its way. What was Charles, Vicky, what was the file number, the case number for Charles?
161.
161.
Okay, I just want to put that in the subject line so it doesn't get lost. 161. Okay, it's on its way to you.
Thank you for that.
What's that noise?
I'm not sure.
Okay, is he all
Nothing
set?
here.
Is everything up, Vicky, now?
I just want to say thank you. That's why I muted, because I've got the lawn service guys outside my window, so that's probably the noise you're hearing. But thank you for your time, and I'll go back on mute.
Thank you. All right, Vicky, are you all set?
I believe we just needed the complaint and the DocuSign. I'm not sure if that has been received as of yet.
Okay.
I haven't gotten it yet. Give me one more moment.
Okay, if we could just have one moment for allowing that document to be put into the record as a full exhibit, that would be helpful to have a complete record.
Thank you. And just as a side note for anyone that's calling in, to unmute yourselves, you can hit *6 on your dial pad, and you should be able to communicate with the meeting moving forward.
Okay. We're still waiting for that exhibit to get loaded?
Yes, we are, very patiently.
Okay.
I sent it.
No, I believe you. I believe that.
Got a
you have
ways to go.
Hello?
Hi.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you identify yourself, please?
This is John Galaney. I've been on hold or been part of this meeting since 8:30, and I'm trying to resolve my issue, and I think you possibly skipped over mine. I also have a copy of the complaint that has Charles Gardner on the name instead of my name.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a possibility. All right. Well, you can be up now. Mr.
Okay,
Galaney, you
good. I
can,
appreciate it.
okay, no problem. We were trying to get you earlier, and
Well, I've been
we
hanging
will-
on since then.
Okay,
So-
all right. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate that. What we are going to do right now is just 1 second, sir, if I may. What we're going to do right now is offer Charles Gardner's document. I'm going to offer that as a full exhibit, the DocuSign, and I believe that that's exhibit 9.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now we're done with Mr. Gardner. Now we're on to Mr. Galino, is it? Galini?
Galaney.
Galani.
Galaney,
And
yes.
what
and
number
then,
is this one, Vicky?
24-142.
Okay.
20-142. And let me see, he's saying that Let me look at his file. Just one moment, please.
All right, let me just get him. Mr. Collini,
You
can
can
you
go
state,
ahead. Yeah.
can you state your name and spelling of your name and then your business address for the record, please?
Sure, it's John J. Galini, Galiny, and the address is 23 DeHoff Drive in Flemington, New Jersey, 08822.
DeHoff is DEHOLF or
FF.
FF? Okay. All right. And now you're on the phone, right? You don't have a video?
Correct. I
Okay,
don't have access to Teams.
I'm going to trust you're going to raise your right hand here.
Okay, I will.
All right. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay. All right. So Vicky's going to go ahead and explain what you're here for.
Okay. I'll have Debbie do the summary. It appears as though he was contesting the civil penalty.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
All right. Jim,
I'm sorry, sir. Can you hear me? Can he hear? I want to make sure he can hear. On the phone, it might be a little bit difficult. Do I need to speak louder or what?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead.
All right, Jim, you want
Deborah?
Yep, I'm just pulling them up here. So he missed the 7-hour use PAP update for this cycle. He completed his last use PAP update, the 2022-23 version on February 11th of 22. And he's contesting the civil penalty, which is $400. He's got no prior history of late CE or any other disciplinary action. He's been licensed in Connecticut since I guess the beginning of our license requirement, which was May 1st of 99. He did complete 28 hours of CE that he submitted for 2024. He just missed his 7-hour use PAP. The reason for his appearance today is because he wishes to retire his license free from discipline. So that's the summary.
Right. I retired at the end of August, and I just wanted to make sure eventually if I decided to renew or obtain my license again, that I would be in good standing.
Okay, Debbie, can you hear me? This is Jerry.
Yes.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Jerry.
Hello. What date did you say he took the use PAP? I'm sorry. Did you say February 22?
February of
Correct.
22, correct, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to I'm making notes. That's all. Thank you.
When I submitted the experience credits, I didn't realize that it was outside the window. It was supposed to be, I guess, May of 22 till April of 24 when I submitted it. So, and I originally renewed in March of 2024.
Okay.
Are you retired status now? Is he retired status now?
Yes.
Yep.
But not, well, I guess it's not recognized by Connecticut, but.
No, his license is showing as active. He didn't complete the retirement form yet. I guess there's a $25 fee and you fill out a form to retire it, but that was his plan.
I didn't, yeah, but I guess I had a discussion with Vicky and with Debbie back in September, and they said that we would have to bring it up at the commissioner meeting. If there's something that I have to submit, I'll do that.
Right. Mr. Galani, have you retired from the other states like New Jersey or wherever else you may have had a license?
Yes. Well, I'm retired from appraising, but my license is like, again, I was probably licensed in 6 or 7 different states, and I'm just letting them run out and not renew them.
Okay, so you are or have retired from the business? Am I understanding that correctly?
Correct. As of end of August.
Okay. And out of your 6 or 7 states that you are licensed in currently here, is Connecticut the first one that you are either filing for a retirement status or it has run out on the expiration date, like New Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York and Delaware? I'm
Correct.
just guessing what other
Connecticut's
states
the
you have.
first one.
Okay, so this is the first time of any of the states that you're going through that you hold a license in, that you're going through the retirement process. Do I
Correct.
understand that correctly?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm sorry, folks. I didn't mean to be so many questions, one right after the other. Thank you.
Fine. Anybody else got any questions? Shauna, Jennifer, Norris? It's my understanding Maria's no longer with us, correct?
Correct.
That is
Okay.
correct. The only thing that I would have, Deb, would you be so kind as to send me the DocuSign to both myself and Rachel? I don't seem
I
to be able
did.
to
It's
locate.
on its way.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much. I appreciate your.
All right.
And I
It-
just wanted to say relative to our conversation, the reason why we had asked him about the retirement status is because we wanted to see what the determination was. Because don't forget, the ASC requires that even if there is a action taken, such as a retirement, in lieu of a fine being paid, that it still has to be reported because it interrupts that person's service. That is the reason
Okay.
why I had indicated to him in our conversation, that he should probably wait until after the determination was made, because that lets us know as to whether or not we need to report something to the ASC, just so that the record is clear as to what the sequence of events was relative to this matter.
So I got a question.
I'd
Is there
also
any-
like, I'm sorry, I'd also like to add quickly that per the ASC, National Registry shows that Mr. Galini has 4 active licenses, including ours, and they're all set to expire in 2025, ours being the first, and then the last one would be December 31st, but they're all 2025.
All right, so it's right now we have the option of waiving this penalty, one, not waiving the penalty. My question is there a third option here where if he is no longer appraising, can he just turn his license in and just, that's the end of it and doesn't get reported anywhere and it's over? Or
A
file for
voluntary
retirement?
surrender is considered discipline by the ASC.
How about if
And
he
that is the
volunteers?
reason why, and that is the reason why we waited until after the determination was made, because he had indicated that he might voluntarily surrender, but that would count as a disciplinary action. Was that Hodgkins case that we had last year, if you
Yeah.
remember the situation, with her
Yeah.
having gone somewhere else and, whatever.
All right, so all right, any questions from anybody else?
I have another one or two, if I may, John. Mr. Galini,
Yes.
do you now, or did you hold any professional designations from any appraisal organizations?
Yes, the Appraisal Institute.
Have you filed a retirement with those folks?
Not as of yet.
Okay. But did you say that you've retired effective August 1st of this year?
August 31st.
Oh, excuse me, August 31st. So 6 weeks ago for round numbers.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And are you planning on retiring or submitting with the retirement with the Appraisal Institute?
Yes.
And when are you looking at doing that, if I may ask?
Well, there wasn't anything immediate, but so I'll do it as quickly as possible. I stopped
Okay.
appraising as of, like I said, August 30th.
Okay, of this year, 5, 6, 7 weeks
Right.
ago. Okay, all right then. All right.
So the thing
So
about
thanks
it
for
was,
the
I
questions.
just
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
What I was just wondering, and I was just questioning, I wanted to surrender the license in good standing. That if, at any case, I wanted to renew my license for Connecticut, I just wanted to make sure that it was in good standing and not having a problem of, being like any kind of penalty or any kind of problem with renewing it.
Okay. Your intentions, sir, are to retire or let your other 3 or 4 or 5 states expire as well?
Yes.
That's your intentions at this time? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you. I'm sorry to ask so many questions, folks.
No, you're fine,
That's
Jerry.
okay.
Sean, you got any questions? Jennifer, Norris? Somebody want to make a motion? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to waive the fine.
Somebody want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right, any more discussion?
I have a question, if that's possible. That application for retirement or for from Connecticut, is that something that you can submit to me, or do I get that online someplace to show that I'm going to be retiring?
I'll tell you what, let's finish the vote, and then Debbie can send you that information after the meeting.
I
All right,
apologize.
no problem. All in favor of waiving the fee? Jerry's an aye. Jennifer?
Aye.
Norris?
Aye. Aye.
Shauna? Shauna, you and I?
You're on mute, Shauna.
I'll be an aye.
Okay. All right. Anybody opposed? Nope. All abstain? Nope. Okay, you're all set, Mister. You're all set, Jim.
Okay, thank you. Just for clarification.
Enjoy retirement. Enjoy retirement.
Thank
The
you.
fee is waived, and I just wanted to ask Ray Shell, I'm not sure if I had put in his complaint or his DocuSign as
Okay.
No, I think we
evidence.
need to do that still.
Okay, yep, thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
Hold on, Jim. They just got to upload some. You won't be able to see it, but they got to upload a couple of pieces of information to close out the file. So hold on a second.
Okay. So this is the DocuSign from June 24th, which I believe on that DocuSign, see if he had put down extenuating circumstances. I don't recall. There were none, but did he sign?
No.
Okay. In this instance, I'm still going to offer it as a exhibit. I will offer it as an exhibit, and I believe we are we on 10? Exhibit, this would be exhibit 10.
Yes, this is 10.
Okay. And then a copy of the complaint. Do you have that? Okay. And I think just for good measure, if you will, I think I'm going to secondly.
Excuse me, I have a question also. I retired from CBRE, and that email address was for CBRE. And I just want to make sure that it comes to my home now, on the email address there. Is there any way I can confirm that?
Well, you can put, if you put on the record, you can put that, but I know that it was taken previously because we had spoken, and when we had the compliance meeting, I think there was some clarification at that time. But my thought is if you put it on the record, it will be in the record, and we can make sure that all documents come to you at that new address or your current or updated address. Could you put that on the record if you'd be so kind?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
Yeah,
Yes,
Jim, just
okay,
state the email you want us to use.
Yes, I can state it now. It's JJ Galaney, GALINEY @Comcast.net.
Thank you. Okay, are we all set, Vic?
I think, yes, I think we are. The bottom line is that it is being waived, and we did get the DocuSign as well as the complaint in, and I think that that's sufficient. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And as
Thank-
Mr. Rasmussen said, enjoy your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your help. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your patience, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So who's next, Vicky?
I believe that the next person should be Ms. Cohen.
Number?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, Mindy Cohen, which is 24-265.
I'm here just trying to turn my camera on for some reason. It's not
Okay,
working.
thank you.
We're waiting for,
The camera's not working, so let me just see.
okay, Mindy, you want to just state your name and spelling of your name while you're working with that
Sure.
and your address?
It's Mindy, Mindi, Cohen, Cohen. And the address is 16239 Emerald Cove Road, Weston, Florida, 33331.
You got your camera going?
No, it's not working. I'm not sure what's going on with it.
I see a dash and what is that? What's that mean?
No
You're
camera.
on mute, Deb. You're on mute, Deb.
On the toolbar at the top, Mindy, where it says camera, is that, did you click on that?
Yeah, it's not crossed out, so,
Okay.
but I
It's
can't
crossed
even.
out on our end. It does appear as though it's crossed out on our end. From what we see, it's crossed out. There's a slash between the camera, on the camera.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
right.
have it here. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know
All
what's
right.
going on.
All right, we're not gonna
How
detain
about,
you
are
for
you on a
that.
laptop? Are you on a
No,
laptop?
I'm
Ms.
on a
Cohen?
desk. No, I'm on a desktop.
Is your
Okay.
camera plugged in? Did it come out
Yeah,
unplugged?
it's plugged in and it was on and all of a sudden it went off and
Okay.
there's
Okay.
All right.
that. Let's see.
Is that okay to
Okay,
move
so-
forward, Vicky?
Yeah, I'm absolutely. We've done it for others, and so we can continue to proceed. She's indicated who she is. She's sworn. She says she's
Well, she
who
didn't
she is.
swear
I
in
think
yet.
we're.
Mindy, can you raise your
Did you
right
send-
hand?
Sure,
We
it's
trust you
raised.
guys. All right. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon the
Yes.
penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Vicky, you want to take it?
Okay, so I do believe that her file is now with you. Rachel, do we have the DocuSign? Okay, so there was a DocuSign that was sent out on June 24th. And if we scroll, I can tell if she had indicated that she had extenuating circumstances. And she did indicate that she did have extenuating circumstances, and that is why she is here before the commission today. I would offer this as a full exhibit. I believe this would be Exhibit 12.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And I will let her explain as to why it is that she believes that she should get a waiver or that she's asking to come before the commission. Ma'am, can you state your case if you would?
Sure. Same as the other situations, I have the reciprocal licenses. This is my first renewal period for Connecticut. And I wasn't aware that I needed the Connecticut law course. So as soon as I found out, I took it, but obviously that was too little too late. But I have licenses in 6 states and didn't realize, all the other states, nobody said required a state, except for Florida law. Everything else has just said, give me your card and you're good to go. So your wallet, your license.
And who did you take your course with? I think that was
McKissick.
one of the McKissick.
McKissick.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm starting to hear a theme here, but go ahead.
Yeah. And they don't send me anything for the other states. They only send me for Florida. So I really had no idea.
When did
So
you
again,
take
I know it's my responsibility, but it was an oversight.
Debbie, when did she take her use
Um,
law?
She took Connecticut appraisal law in July of 24, and she was first licensed as a reciprocal February 20th of 2020. So she would have renewed in 2020.
And she took her law module then?
No, I've never taken a Connecticut law. I've never had to.
Let me
Never
look
was
up.
told. I don't think I had to redo anything because I had just gotten my license. So I never had to do a renewal. This was my first
So-
Connecticut renewal.
Hold on, let me look it up. All right, I have to open up all this.
But Deb, to get the first time, you don't need to take the law
Yeah.
class.
Right, she doesn't have any CE due for 2020. It was a letter though, that's why I was opening it up. But for 2022, hold on, let me open that one. I don't have anything for her. I don't have anything for her for 2022. I don't think she got pulled for audit in 22.
I just sent my Florida stuff and that was approved.
Please. Okay, yeah, I'll send you what she has.
So she's never taken the law module even for the original one?
Apparently not. I'll send it to you so you can see what she took. There's a transcript, which by the way, while we have you here, we don't accept transcripts from now on.
Okay.
It's just a course.
Okay, yeah, I sent out my certificates this year because I was told to send my certificates.
Make sure that Rachel is also included in whatever you're sending so that it can be a part of the record, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody got any questions? Or we're waiting for,
Well, I can bring up the complaint as part of the record if I may, just so it's complete. The department did send a complaint indicating that we were having the hearing today. The notices a part of the complaint. I think it's on the last page, a separate document indicating that the proceedings would take place today, October 9th at 10. She's here, so I mean, it's not an issue, but I would offer this as a full exhibit, which is the department's exhibit 13, I believe.
Yeah, 13.
Okay. I just sent that out to you.
You're also agreeing that that's 13? Rachel, are we all set with that?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
okay, any questions from the commission? Other commission members?
I have a number, so I'll let everyone else go first because I may just keep rolling.
Deb, were you sending us an email?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Okay, you want to just go with your questions, Jerry?
Yeah, yes, please. Okay, then I will begin here. And this is for us with the state, so I understand things here. I wrote down here that Ms. Cohen's first license she got with Connecticut was in February of 2020. Am I correct with that?
Yes, February
So-
20th of 2020.
Okay, so we would have had the license expire April 30th of 2020. Then we would have begun another cycle, May 1st of 2020 to April 30th of 2022. And now we are in this cycle that we're into right now through 24. Am I correct in my assumption here?
Yes,
Okay. And taking a class, or excuse me, getting a license in 2020, we never had, is there any showing of CE hours given in that, even though it was abbreviated 3 or 4 month time period for that licensing period?
no, there was, let me just pull this up again, sorry. There's just a letter in here that says you received your first CE license in February, so you don't have any CE due at this time. You can renew online. When it asks you to upload your CE, please upload this email and you may say yes to having completed your CE. So that was for the initial,
Good.
yeah, for 2020.
That's what I wanted to make sure of.
I'm sorry. Is that a document you want to be into the record?
Do you want me to? Sure, I can send that to you. Hold on.
Well, you can share it first if you need to.
Oh, I can share?
Well, so-
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold
you can
on.
share, Sure.
Hold
Public
on.
record.
All
I
right.
mean, we want the
Okay.
record to be very clear when the ASC reviews.
Okay.
So,
Uh-huh. So
right.
here,
so
hold
we
on,
can
I
show
don't
our
know if
process.
it's,
Okay.
can you see?
Yes, absolutely.
can.
Yes.
Okay, so this is from April 14th of 2020, and this is the email.
That the department has sent them.
Okay. So that takes care of that licensing block of time.
For 2020, correct?
Yes.
Do I send this, excuse me, Jerry, do I send this to Rochelle for the record? Do I?
To Rochelle,
First-
myself. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, sorry.
No
And
problem. I'm
and
making sure
would
this is done
be,
correctly.
This would be exhibit 14, which is the email, department's email. And what was the date of that email, Deb? I just want to write that down. You're blocked, you're on mute. Sorry. I think you hit the mute by accident.
April 14th of 2020.
Thank you so much. 2020. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So it may keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And Debbie, you're on mute, just to let you know. And I'm going to ask you this question, Debbie, here. So that took care of that block. That I'm glad to hear that. Then do we have copies of the certificates or transcript or whatever you were just saying for the 22 licensing cycle?
Yes, she submitted, Mindy submitted, the required 28 hours completed for 2024. The only.
2022 cycle. We went
Oh,
through the 20
22.
cycle.
No, I
the
just
22.
sent that. I just sent that to you, that
Okay.
transcript from Florida. Yeah, and it did
Okay.
not include the Connecticut law at that time either.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to get, so I keep things factual for me. Okay.
Do we want the transcript that was just done? Do we want that to be entered into the record?
It probably wouldn't hurt.
Yes, I think that we need to cover all bases here.
I think that's why I didn't realize I had to do Connecticut law, which is my mistake.
Okay, that's fair. I just want so Rachel, have you received this document as of yet?
Yep. So the CE, do you guys see that? The CE, I'm sharing that now with the Florida.
Right, correct. So this would be
Okay.
exhibit
Yep.
15. Yep, thank you for that clarification. I wasn't certain who was showing. Thank you. Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Okay, any more questions, Jerry?
No, I was just trying to get a level set, John. Okay.
Yep.
So, if I understand this correctly, then, if Ms. Cohen had been, audited the previous cycle, this would have come up then. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So now, we did the audit this time and this is where it was caught. Okay. All right. And I'm just trying to get a level set. All right. I know I've dominated with questions, so I'll shush up for others to speak up.
You are fine. Shauna, Norris, Jennifer, you have any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Vicky, Debbie, any questions?
I have no further questions.
Somebody want to make a motion?
John, I'm putting this out to all our other commissioners here. Are we, because under the principle of consistency of what we've been doing here today, tell me why this case, Ms. Cohen's case,